Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Resurrection of Spiritual Energy, Staying in a God-Level Nursing Home at the Beginning. Chapter 1. Lin Xiao, stop using these tricks. Why are you still pretending to be dead? We have broken up. You are no longer worthy of me. The cold words came, and Lin Xiao slowly opened his eyes. What caught his eye was a woman who, in the eyes of someone as picky as Lin Xiao, could score at least an 8. She has a standard oval face, light eyebrows, and although her eyes and nose are not conspicuous, they are still pleasing to the eye when put together on the same face. The only thing that is more abrupt is the thin lips, which look somewhat cool. The woman's pretty face was covered with frost, and she was looking at him with disgust. Lin Xiao looked confused. Sister, who are you? What is this place? Wasn't it true that on the way home, I saw a gangster teasing a decent woman and going to be a hero to save the beauty? The last memory he had was of the baseball bat getting closer and closer to him, so was he knocked unconscious. And who is this person in front of me? I don't think I know her. How does she know her name? Lin Xiao's mind was full of questions. Just when he was about to ask, he suddenly felt dizzy and a lot of information suddenly appeared in his mind. Lin Xiao felt a splitting headache and couldn't help but hug his head. Lin Xiao, stop pretending and get up. No matter what, we can't be together anymore. At this time, Lin Xiao could not hear any sounds from the outside world. Many memories that did not belong to him suddenly appeared in his mind. A large number of memories poured into his mind, which made him very painful. This feeling lasted for several minutes, and Lin Xiao finally understood his current situation. He time traveled to a parallel world where spiritual energy was revived. After Lin Xiao sorted out the information in his mind, he finally understood his situation. The person he traveled through time was also named Lin Xiao. Like him, he was also an orphan and a student of Zuncheng No. 1 middle school. Although Lin Xiao was an orphan, he was very diligent. He completed all 3 years of high school knowledge in 1.5 years, and ranked first in the school in every literacy test. Therefore, the teachers at the school were particularly at ease with Lin Xiao, so they did not force Lin Xiao to come to school every day and gave Lin Xiao enough time to go out and work to earn money to support himself. Lin Xiao still couldn't believe that he had traveled through time. Wasn't he really dreaming? Lin Xiao, I have made it clear to you, please don't pester me again. Lin Xiao finally came back to his senses and looked at the woman in front of him. The woman's information also appeared directly in his mind. Lu Ruyan, the culprit behind the sudden death of the original owner of this body. Lu Ruyan came from the same orphanage as Lin Xiao, and they had always been dependent on each other. It is said that they depend on each other for life, but in fact, it is Lin Xiao who pays more. Lin Xiao went out to work before and gave most of the money to Lu Ruyan, leaving only enough money for himself to barely feed himself. Lu Ruyan in memory was not very kind to the original owner of the body. Although they were boyfriend and girlfriend in name, Lu Ruyan treated Lin Xiao more like a cash machine and would give Lin Xiao money every time he was short of money. Xiao Dian had a good face, but sometimes he would give Lin Xiao too much and would yell at Lin Xiao. However, the original owner of the body was a standard licking dog. Even if he knew what kind of person Lu Ruyan was, every time Lu Ruyan tried to make him feel better, he would be happy with it. It is said that if you lick the dog, you will lick the dog, and in the end there will be nothing left. This is true at all. After being mercilessly abandoned by Lu Ruyan, the original owner of this body still didn't want to give up and stalked Lu Ruyan. In the end, it was because of Lu Ruyan's ruthlessness that she couldn't bear the blow and died. It is precisely for this reason that Lin Xiao was able to be reborn in this body. Although the original owner's grades were good, in this world of spiritual recovery, good grades did not mean everything. The turning point of everything was the awakening ceremony 3 days ago. There are many superpowers in this world, the lowest is F level, and the highest is SSS level. During the awakening ceremony, Lu Ruyan awakened the A-level fire element, which made her immediately famous in the school. It turns out that Lin Xiao was also happy for Lu Ruyan, but it was a pity that he failed to live up to his expectations and awakened the most rubbish F-level power, which also disillusioned Lu Ruyan's last illusions about him. Lin Xiao originally thought that after such long efforts, Lu Ruyan would not leave him even if the awakened power was the lowest level F. Who would have expected that after the awakening ceremony, Lu Rian would find him directly, break up with him, and fall in love with Ji Boxiao, the only S-level awakener in the school. The original owner of the body was certainly not willing to accept this. He went to Lu Rian several times in the past 3 days, but what awaited him was destined to be disappointment again and again. It was today that the original owner found Lu Rian again. Lin Xiao, who was ruthlessly rejected by Lu Rian again, finally knew that there was no way back, and he was so frustrated that he couldn't even take a breath. Lin Xiao, who knew the cause and effect, curled his lips. It was really unlucky. How could he be reborn in the body of such a useless person? What I hate most is licking dogs. Now that I have become the owner of this body, I will definitely change everything. Having said that I have been reborn, where is the standard golden finger? What about the system? Hurry up and make arrangements for yourself. You are already ready to slap this woman in the face. I am also ready to shout out the saying, 30 years to the east of Hedong and 30 years to the west of Hexi. Don't bully young people into poverty. However, no matter how Lin Xiao called, he didn't get any response. Instead, Lu Rian's voice sounded again. Lin Xiao, don't pretend to be dumb. Brother Bo Xiao and I are destined to be admitted to the top Lingwu University in China. You and I are already 2 parallel lines that cannot intersect. I hope you can recognize yourself and stop pestering me. Quote. Lu Rian's words brought Lin Xiao, who was still trying to find his golden finger, back to his senses. Looking at Lu Rian, Lin Xiao snorted disdainfully. The old saying is indeed true, if heaven had not given birth to Lu Rian, her scum would be like a long night. Brother, since I have been reborn in your body and have something, let me help you seek justice. But before that, he had to confirm one thing first. Lin Xiao got up from the ground and dusted himself off. Then he came to Lu Rian silently. At 1.83 meters tall, he was a full head taller than Lu Rian. Seeing Lin Xiao stand up, Lu Rian couldn't help but take a step back, but he quickly reacted and looked at Lin Xiao stubbornly. Lin Xiao touched his nose and then looked down at Lu Rian. Scumbag, have you eaten too much fake starch intestine? Stop pushing me, I want to verify one thing first. Lu Rian was dumbfounded. In her opinion, Lin Xiao had always been her #1 licker. When had he ever spoken to her in such a tone? And what did he just call himself? Scumbag, how dare he? Just as Lu Rian was about to retaliate, she saw Lin Xiao raise his hand and then slap her directly in the face. Degree. Hash ka. Snapped. The voice was clear and sweet, and Lin Xiao didn't hold back at all on this slap. Not to mention Lu Rian's condition, Lin Xiao felt that his hand was numb from the shock. Lin Xiao was like this, let alone Lu Rian. At this time, half of Lu Rian's cheeks were swollen, and blood was flowing out of the corners of his mouth. Lu Rian's eyes were filled with fire. Lin Xiao, you actually hit me, how dare you? Lin Xiao curled his lips, shook his hands that were numb from the shock, and spoke softly. Verification completed, I was indeed not dreaming. Without the golden finger, I would still beat you, you scumbag. When Lin Xiao fell down, there were already many people around him. These were all students from Zuncheng #1 middle school. Everyone knows Lin Xiao. After all, he is considered a famous figure in the school. Of course, what everyone is most familiar with is not how good he is at studying, but how good he is at licking. Lin Xiao also understands this. He is really the #1 no one asks about him all year round. Once he licks the dog, the whole world will know it. Who would have thought that Lin Xiao, who was Lu Rian's loyal licker, would directly give Lu Rian such a big deal? This is super big news. Holy shit, am I dreaming that the super licking dog slapped Lu Rian? Is this true? Brother, although I don't believe it either, this is absolutely true. I feel like this slap was a good one. What Lu Rian did was really not authentic. You can't say that. When people go to higher places, water flows to lower places. This is understandable. If it were me, I would choose Ji Boxiao. Feeling the eyes and comments of the people around her, Lu Rian felt even more embarrassed, and a small fireball appeared in her hand. This guy dared to hit her, the matter couldn't be left alone. Lin Xiao felt the danger at the first moment. His eyes were fixed on the fireball in Lu Rian's hand. Is this a superpower in this world? Although this fireball didn't look very lethal, Lin Xiao knew that if he ate this fireball, he wouldn't feel well. At this moment, a man over 1.7 meters tall squeezed through the crowd and walked over. The man's appearance looks very ordinary, even a little ugly, but the clothes he wears are from famous brands, so he must be very rich in his family. As soon as the man saw the situation at the scene, he immediately came to Lu Ruyan's side. "Ruyan, what's going on? Is this guy harassing you again?" Lin Xiao looked at the man who suddenly appeared and immediately knew the identity of this guy. It was Ji Boxiao, who was the only one in Zuncheng number 1 middle school who had awakened the S-level wind power. Ji Boxiao has awakened his S-level powers and is a popular figure in Zuncheng. In addition, his father is also the richest man in Zuncheng. He is never short of money. He is a well-known playboy in Zuncheng. Ji Boxiao had been pursuing Lu Ruyan before. Lu Ruyan had actually been attracted to him for a long time. Although he was a bit ugly, he was really rich. However, in order to maintain her own personality, she did not agree to Ji Boxiao's pursuit and kept hanging on Ji Boxiao. This also aroused Ji Boxiao's competitive spirit, and his pursuit of Lu Ruyan became even more intense. After the awakening ceremony, Lu Ruyan felt that the time had come. In addition, Lin Xiao only awakened the most rubbish F-level powers, so she broke up with Lin Xiao without hesitation and fell directly into the arms of Ji Boxiao. When Lu Ruyan saw Ji Boxiao coming out, he immediately swung away the fireball in his hand. "Brother Bo Xiao, you are finally here. This guy not only harassed me, but also beat me. You must make the decision for me." Lu Ruyan's voice was completely different from the cold one before, and it was so loud that it made people's bones numb. Ji Boxiao liked this very much. Just when he was about to help Lu Ruyan regain his position, Lin Xiao spoke first. Hey, hey. You can eat randomly, but you can't talk nonsense. With a guy like you, how can I harass you? This is not why I came to you this time, but to ask you to pay back the money." Ji Boxiao was originally ready to deal with Lin Xiao, but when he heard Lin Xiao's words, the chill in his eyes deepened. In the previous world, it would have been totally worthwhile to challenge Lin Xiao against Ji Boxiao. The problem is that this is a world of spiritual energy recovery. What I have awakened is only the most rubbish F level, and the opponent is S level. If we really want to fight, I will probably suffer a loss. Even if you find these two very distasteful, you can't just go for abuse. After looking at the people around him, Lin Xiao immediately had an idea. He walked silently into the crowd, believing that this way, Ji Boxiao would not dare to take action. After all, it would be bad if he accidentally hurt someone. Lin Xiao also started his performance at this time. "Students, I believe everyone knows about my entanglement with these two people. I don't want to say anything more. Everyone has seen the current situation. Although Lu Ruyan and I are childhood sweethearts, our childhood sweethearts are not as rich as the other party. I admit it, and everyone knows my situation. I don't object to Lu Ruyan pursuing true love, but do you have to pay me back the money I spent on her before? After all, I don't have to work 5 jobs a day. It's easy, students, don't you think so?" The onlookers were just watching the excitement and didn't think it was a big deal. Ji Boxiao and the others couldn't afford to provoke them, but with so many people present, Ji Boxiao couldn't possibly find trouble for them one by one. "Yes, that's right. We all know that most of the money earned by classmate Lin Xiao from her work-study program was given to Lu Ruyan. Now it's time to pay it back. It is only natural to pay back debts. On this point, I support Lin Xiao. The students were all talking, and most of them supported Lin Xiao. Lu Ruyan's face became even more ugly. Seeing that her classmates wanted to support Lin Xiao, she finally couldn't help but speak. "Lin Xiao, what do you mean? Did I force you to give that money? Didn't you give it to me willingly?" Lin Xiao laughed angrily. "The original owner of the body, have you seen who Lu Ruyan is? I really don't know why you want to be this kind of woman's fool. It's ridiculous. Did I say that you don't need to pay back the money I've given you over the years? When I transferred the money to you, did I mark it as a voluntary gift? By the way, you don't want to default on the debt, do you?" Lu Ruyan wanted to say something else, but Ji Boxiao stood up again. A somewhat sinister smile appeared on his face. Isn't it just money? How much Rian has taken from you over the years, I will pay you back double. Lin Xiao's face immediately showed a bright smile, shining in the sun, making several female classmates who were watching the excitement become nymphomaniacs. At this moment, they couldn't understand why Lu Rian would give up such a handsome guy to fall in love with Ji Boxiao. Isn't it just that the family has more money? Isn't it just that he has awakened his S-level power? Then I have to calculate it carefully. I have given her too much over the years, and there is interest on the borrowed money. My brother is still settling the accounts. Besides, you and I are not familiar with each other. I also have to pay for the loss of my youth. Etc., etc. After Lin Xiao finished speaking, he took out his cell phone from his pocket, opened the calculator and started to calculate, mumbling incessantly. Last month I gave Lu Rian 2,000 yuan. We spent a total of 1,200 yuan on dinner together and 500 yuan on gifts. Ji Boxiao and Lu Rian's faces grew darker and darker as they listened. It would be too embarrassing to continue to stay here. Ji Boxiao took out a check directly from his pocket and threw it to Lin Xiao. When you finish the calculation, fill it in yourself. We won't accompany you. Lin Xiao chuckled, picked up the check from the ground, looked at the two people who were about to leave, and spoke. By the way, you won't fool me with a piece of waste paper, right? Haha, why don't you ask me who I am? I can't afford to disgrace this person. What's the maximum amount of this check? Ji Boxiao, opening parenthesis closing parenthesis. What does this guy mean? He is really ready to fill it up. HMPH, you can get it directly if it's less than 5 million. Thank you boss, boss is so generous. I wish boss will have a baby soon, 108 in one child. Lu Rian looked at Lin Xiao's flattering look, with a flash of disdain in his eyes. Lin Xiao, you really don't give up any dignity for money. Lin Xiao curled his lips. Just kidding, dignity is nothing in front of money. Ji Boxiao and Lu Rian were walking on the school path. Brother Bo Xiao, why did you give that guy Lin Xiao so much money? That bumpkin has probably never seen so much money in his life. Haha, if he is sensible, I won't go looking for trouble with him. If he seeks death on his own, then it's not my fault. I don't even care about a mere 5 million. Seeing Ji Boxiao say this, Lu Rian's face showed a strange color, such a man was worthy of him. On the other side, Lin Xiao looked at the check in his hand. If there weren't so many people around now, he really wanted to kiss the check in his hand. This was a check with a maximum amount of 5 million. Whether it was in his previous life or this life, he had never seen so much money. Since the maximum amount is 5 million, then just fill in the amount of 4,999,999 yuan and 90 cents. Otherwise, I would really feel sorry for the original owner of this body. Everyone, thank you for speaking up just now. Let's all leave. The people around looked at Lin Xiao with envy. They did not expect Ji Boxiao to be so generous and directly give Lin Xiao so much money. I said, Lin Xiao, we have helped you so much, why don't you just verbally thank us? Lin Xiao immediately took a step back subconsciously and put away the check in his hand. Just kidding, it doesn't matter how much you verbally thank me, it's impossible to get a share of the pie from yourself. Haha, isn't it because the money hasn't arrived yet? Let's all leave. Next time I have a chance, I will thank you all. Lin Xiao said such polite words, but he was extremely determined in his heart. It was absolutely impossible for him to bleed. When the people present saw what Lin Xiao said, they also knew that it was impossible to get benefits from Lin Xiao, so they could only leave in frustration. Seeing that everyone had dispersed, Lin Xiao was also ready to leave. He was a little worried about the check, but he felt relieved after converting it into money. You also need to verify whether the check is real or fake. If it cannot be used, you will have to find trouble with that couple. Although there are still classes today, Lin Xiao doesn't have to go to them. With a brisk pace, I am ready to leave school. While Lin Xiao was still dreaming about his future, a girl's voice came from behind. Classmate Lin Xiao. Lin Xiao frowned and looked back, only to find an unknown girl looking at him shyly. Lin Xiao was a little puzzled. He didn't seem to know this classmate. This classmate, what's the matter? I'm Zhao Qian from class 3, class 4. I've been following you for a long time. Can you give me your green bubble? Lin Xiao immediately understood what Zhao Qian was thinking. My charm has nowhere to go. No, isn't this little girl interested in her own money? No, absolutely not. Classmate Zhao, I still need to use my green bubble. If you want to use it, I can register one for you. Girls. Oh, oh. That's not what I meant. What I meant was, can you let me scan your code? Oh, that's what you mean, then you can scan me. After Lin Xiao finished speaking, he took out his old mobile phone, found his QR code, and handed it to Zhao Qian. After Zhao Qian finished scanning, he showed a charming smile to Zhao Qian, then waved and left. Zhao Qian looked at Lin Xiao with a look of infatuation. Even now she couldn't figure out why Lu Ruyan gave up such a handsome boy and chose Ji Boxiao. When Lin Xiao walked away, the girl remembered that she had just scanned the QR code and had not added Lin Xiao's friends yet. When she saw the page on her phone, she was stunned. Lin Xiao gave him a payment code. Zhao Qian was a little angry because she was fooled by Lin Xiao. Lin Xiao, who had left the campus, had long forgotten about Zhao Qian's conversation. The woman would only affect the speed at which he drew his sword. Only then did Lin Xiao start to really think about it. He had only absorbed part of the memory just now, and there were still many things he didn't understand. Now that he is free, he has a deeper understanding of his situation. This is a world where spiritual energy is revived. Everyone will awaken their powers. There are many types of powers. The type and level of the powers can determine a person's future. People like Lu Ruyan and Ji Boxiao who have awakened A-level or higher abilities will be the targets of competition from major forces no matter where they are. Lu Ruyan was right, they were from two different worlds. There are more people like him who have awakened low-level abilities. Not everyone with awakened powers is suitable for fighting. Even if they can awaken, they are destined to be ordinary people. Lin Xiao's awakened power was an F-level vision enhancement power. Lin Xiao didn't know much about his own power. Anyway, in the memory of the original owner, after using vision enhancement, his vision seemed to become particularly good. But that's all, it's of little use. This is also the main reason why this ability is rated as an F-level ability. Lin Xiao sighed. It seemed that it was impossible for him to change the world. However, Lin Xiao is also open-minded. At least his current life is quite decent, and he does not need to have such strong pursuits. As long as you don't leave the city, you won't encounter any danger, and the spiritual beasts outside can't hurt you. Lin Xiao quickly found a bank that could cash his check. He first searched online and then asked the bank staff. After repeated confirmations, he finally confirmed that the check was genuine. He did not hesitate to fill in the number he wanted. Then he applied for a card at the bank and put all the money in the card. At this moment, Lin Xiao was completely relieved. From now on, the money is his own. Nothing makes people happier than this. At this moment, Lin Xiao had already begun to think about how to spend the money. Buy a house or a car. And then find a wife. No, don't worry about the garage now. Don't you have to spend money with him to find a wife? It's not cost-effective, so I'd better spend it on my own to make myself comfortable. Well, this is really a happy trouble. Feeling the vibration of his phone, Ji Boxiao picked up his phone. Lu Ruyan beside him also came over immediately. After seeing the deduction information above, Ji Boxiao's eyes became a little sinister. He really didn't expect that Lin Xiao would actually dare to fill in such an astronomical figure. Lu Ruyan's face didn't look good either. Ji Boxiao had been chasing her for so long. Although he bought a lot of gifts, they were not as much as 5 million. This guy, why, Ruyan, you bamboo horse is really greedy. Lu Ruyan heard the meaning of Ji Boxiao's words and immediately expressed his attitude. Brother Bo Xiao, we just know each other, but we are not actually familiar with each other. I don't care how you want to deal with him. A flash of fierceness flashed in Ji Boxiao's eyes. Don't worry, my money is not so easy to get. After finishing speaking, Ji Boxiao made a phone call. 5 million is not much, but not everyone can get it. Walking out of the bank door, Lin Xiao had a priceless bank card in his pocket. At this time, Lin Xiao's brain completely calmed down. He began to reflect on himself. When Ji Boxiao gave him this check, he never thought that he would dare to take so much money. After all, the original owner was cowardly by nature and could not do such a thing. It's a pity that the owner of this body has changed. If you don't take advantage of it, you would be stupid if you don't take advantage of it. Although Ji Boxiao's family is rich, there is a high probability that he will not let him go. It's better to think about how to deal with it earlier. He could also think of Ji Boxiao's method. He probably wanted someone to deal with him and then take the money back. The head can be cut off or the blood can bleed, but the money cannot be lost. This money is in your own pocket, and no one can take it away from you unless you are willing. Although the Ji family is very powerful in Zuncheng, it is definitely impossible to torture themselves to death in public. Forget it, don't think about it so much now, you suddenly have so much money, you have to treat yourself. Thinking of this, Lin Xiao was ready to find a place to have a good meal. Although he is a time traveler, Lin Xiao does not have any big ambitions. His motto is that if you are happy in life, you must live it one day at a time. If he could just lie down and be a salty fish, he would never make any effort. After receiving 5 million from Ji Boxiao, he felt that it was enough. All that was left was to think about how to become a qualified salted fish. After thinking briefly, Lin Xiao decided to treat himself to some barbecue crayfish, which was delicious and affordable. But after walking a few steps, Lin Xiao felt something strange. He always felt like someone was following him. This was his intuition. He looked back several times pretending to be normal and found that a few guys who looked like gangsters at first glance had been following him. In order to verify his conjecture, he walked around aimlessly in a large circle, but those people still followed him. Lin Xiao was a little unsure. These people were sent by Ji Boxiao, or they were gangsters from the neighborhood. Seeing that he looked like a student, he wanted to get some pocket money from him. Lin Xiao quickly ruled out the second possibility. The total amount of clothes he was wearing probably cost less than 100 yuan. No normal gangster would target him. There was no way he could squeeze out any oil or water from his body. The original owner of the body was actually not that poor, but most of the money was given to Lu Ruyan, which made him so depressed. When he thought of this, Lin Xiao felt very painful, but then he thought about it, if it weren't for the original owner's licking, he would not have the chance to come to this world, let alone get a huge sum of 5 million directly. Life. He shook his head and got rid of all these thoughts in his mind. Now is not the time to think about this. The top priority is to think about how to get rid of these little gangsters behind you. It is definitely impossible for Lin Xiao to lose money and avoid disaster. The reason why these people have not taken action yet is because they most likely want to wait for him to go to a place with few people. He cannot do what these people want. Lin Xiao quickened his pace, and he could feel those few people also speeding up their pace. Brother, I suspect that this kid has discovered us and has been leading us in circles. Now he is speeding up his pace. He probably wants to get rid of us. With so many of us, he can still fly to the sky. Mr. G said, take good care of this kid, as long as he doesn't kill him. This kid cheated Mr. G for 5 million. Mr. G also said, that money is we've been paid, but we can't let the meat fly away. Brother, there is no problem in dealing with such a little guy, but he keeps running to crowded places, so it's hard for us to take action. Why are you anxious? Keep an eye on this kid for a while. If this kid is still like this, we will take action even if there are many people. No matter what, we must capture this kid today. Otherwise, if this kid wastes our money, then it's not good. Lin Xiao couldn't hear the conversation between several people, and he was still thinking of a way to escape. With so many gangsters, he was definitely no match for him, and he didn't want to be dealt with unless it was absolutely necessary. While thinking about countermeasures, he continued to move forward. I don't know if Lin Xiao was too immersed in his thoughts, but he actually found that there were slowly fewer people around him. By the time Lin Xiao discovered this, it seemed a little too late. Looking back quietly, he found that the gangsters were closer to him. This discovery shocked Lin Xiao. How could he make such a mistake? Lin Xiao began to look at the surrounding environment and found that he seemed to have arrived at a villa area unknowingly. This place is still in the city, but there are relatively few people. This kind of environment is really suitable for those guys to take action. We can't sit still and wait for death, We need to get rid of these people as soon as possible. Thinking of this, Lin Xiao stopped pretending not to notice a few people and started running directly. Seeing Lin Xiao start to run, the gangsters immediately chased after him. Lin Xiao, I advise you to stop immediately. If we catch you, you will be tortured several times more than you are now. Hand over the money obediently, let us beat you up, and forget about it, otherwise you will be responsible for the consequences. The gangster's words reached Lin Xiao's ears, and now he was sure that these people were really found by Ji Boxiao. By the way, these guys are really fast, they found themselves so quickly. But if you want to steal money from yourself, there is no way. Lin Xiao's speed is not slow, and the physical fitness of the original owner is not bad. After all, as Lu Ruyan's loyal licking dog, he works several jobs a day, including some physical work of moving bricks, which makes this body pretty strong. But that's all. It's not that simple to get rid of these gangsters. One of the gangsters seems to be a wind power user. At this time, he started to use powers, and he was getting closer and closer to Lin Xiao. Even without looking back, Lin Xiao could feel the pressure coming from behind. We can't continue like this, otherwise if we are caught by these, we will definitely not be able to eat and carry around. At this moment, a big sign appeared not far from Lin Xiao. Red Sun Nursing Home. Lin Xiao didn't think much at this time. When he saw the door of the nursing home open, he ran in directly. Just as he was about to go in, he was stopped by the gatekeeper. Young man, you can't break in here. Lin Xiao couldn't control that much now, so he just found an excuse. Uncle, I'm here to see my grandpa. I made an appointment before. The gatekeeper seemed to have remembered something. You said that and I remembered it. You must be my grandson. Today is your grandpa's birthday. I have indeed made an appointment in advance. You can go in. Okay, thank you sir. Lin Xiao was overjoyed. He didn't expect that he had been fooled. He couldn't control it so much. He hoped to get rid of those guys. By the way, those gangsters won't chase them in, right? You won't accidentally hurt the uncle, right? Thinking of this, Lin Xiao, who was already preparing to find a place to hide, stopped. This is his own business. If the gatekeeper suffered an unreasonable disaster because of this matter, he would not be able to do such a thing. Looking back, I found those gangsters gathering at the entrance of the nursing home. The gatekeeper stopped these gangsters outside. Old man, let us in, we have some private matters to resolve. The gatekeeper didn't even raise his head and replied calmly. I'm sorry, this is a private venue, you can't just enter if you want. Old man, have we given you the respect? Let us in wisely, otherwise don't blame us for not respecting the elderly. What nonsense are you talking to him about? Just rush in. Several gangsters were about to rush in, but at this moment, Lin Xiao finally followed his heart and came back. Uncle. Before Lin Xiao could speak, he was stopped by the gatekeeper. Xiao son, that's it. I don't need you to take action. As the gatekeeper of the Red Sun Nursing Home, do you think I'm here to care for the elderly? I haven't been active for a long time, and my hands are itchy. No, these people who don't have eyes are just delivered to your door yourself. Uncle, actually these people. Just watch from the sidelines. The gatekeeper didn't wait for Lin Xiao to finish speaking, then turned to look at the gangsters. At this time, he exuded an extremely strong momentum. Feeling this momentum, Lin Xiao was stunned. No, is this really just a caretaker of a nursing home? After sorting out his thoughts, although the original owner awakened the most rubbish F-level power, from his memory, Lin Xiao had also seen many strong people fighting, but none of them had the aura of the uncle. The momentum is powerful. Those little gangsters also felt that something was unusual, and they all stopped in their tracks. Boss, something seems to be wrong. This old man looks quite strong. The gangster boss was also a little undecided at this time. If he left like this, he would be completely embarrassed. How could he manage so many younger brothers in the future? Don't be afraid, this is an old man guarding the door, come on. The younger brothers also encouraged themselves one by one. Many of them had spiritual power fluctuations emitting from their bodies, and they also began to develop their own spiritual skills. Although these people are all gangsters and have awakened E-level and F-level abilities, this does not mean that their abilities have no offensive power. Lin Xiao's heart lifted again when he saw the fireballs, wind blades and other magical skills appearing in the hands of several people. The gatekeeper seemed to turn a blind eye to this, and a fireball appeared in his hand. The fireball was not big, not even as big as the fireballs in the hands of those gangsters, but Lin Xiao, who was standing not far from him, felt a burning sensation. Before those gangsters could launch their attack, the uncle threw the fireball in his hand. The fireball exploded not far away from several gangsters, and the strong explosion shock wave directly knocked several gangsters to the ground. The spiritual skills brewing in his hands were also directly scattered. Lin Xiao was surprised to find that such a magical skill, apart from knocking over a few gangsters, did not cause even a little damage to the surrounding environment. Such control is not so easy to achieve. Several gangsters also knew that they might have encountered a tough problem this time. At the order of the gangster leader, they all left in despair. When leaving, Lin Xiao found that their eyes were full of malice when they looked at him. I could still vaguely hear them muttering that they didn't believe he wouldn't come out. Originally, when he saw a few gangsters being beaten away, Lin Xiao was ready to leave, but now he gave up this idea. It seems to be quite safe here. Let's stay here for a while. Master is mighty. Okay, brat, your grandpa is waiting for you. Come in quickly. Lin Xiao is not a fool. He has already seen that the nursing home in front of him may not be a simple nursing home. The caretaker has such a strong cultivation level. If there is nothing fishy here, he will not believe it. Of course, it cannot be ruled out that the old man in front of me is hiding something secretly. He is retired and bored and comes here to look at the gate. No matter what the situation was, Lin Xiao also wanted to go in and see what was going on inside out of curiosity. Those who were following him no longer had to worry. Lin Xiao had now completely calmed down. He said goodbye to the caretaker and headed directly towards the nursing home. Looking at the surrounding environment, Lin Xiao had to admit that the environment here was really good. This was originally a high-end villa area in Zuncheng. To be able to use such a large piece of land to build a nursing home here, I think the people behind the scenes are not simple people. Soon Lin Xiao came to the front desk of the nursing home. There was a very beautiful young lady at the front desk, and she was a little surprised to see Lin Xiao arriving. Very few outsiders come in here. Out of politeness, she still showed a professional smile. Hello sir, how can I help you? Lin Xiao touched his head. At this moment, he didn't know what to say. You said you came to help Mr. Sun celebrate his birthday. That would be too outrageous. Wouldn't you be in trouble as soon as you enter? While Lin Xiao was still thinking, an idea popped up involuntarily. Speaking of which, when he was reborn in this world, he didn't want to become a big shot. The F-level power he awakened also determined that he couldn't be a prostitute, so it seemed that it would be good to be a salted fish for the rest of his life. Now that you are ready to be a salted fish, why not just choose to live in a nursing home? It just so happens that I have just received a large amount of money, which I think will be enough to live here for a long time. The more he thought about it, the more excited he became, and his eyes became brighter and brighter. Moving into a nursing home at the age of 18 will save you a lifetime of detours. There is also such an awesome old man at the door. Living here by yourself and being taken care of by others is not more comfortable than that simple rental house. It was such a happy decision. Hello, little sister, I'm here to check in. Shu Qing frowned when she heard that she was checking in. She had not received any news that a new person was coming. But since it can be let in, it must be approved. She knew who could live here, and she didn't dare to neglect them at all. Sir, you are checking in your family. If it is convenient, can you provide the information of the elderly people staying here? Lin Xiao waved his hand. I'm not checking in for my family, I'm here to check in myself. What's my information? This is my ID card. Forget it, let me introduce you briefly. My name is Lin Xiao, and I'm male. I love money, and I'm still 504 months away from turning 60. If possible, I'd like to get a lifetime package. Hearing Lin Xiao's words, Shu Qing's mouth twitched. Where Lin Xiao couldn't see it, lightning flashed in her hand. The lady at the front desk, you. What happened? Why did Uncle Zhang let everyone in? We have to find a way to get rid of this guy. Not everyone can stay here. Seeing that Lin Xiao was dressed in street clothes, she quickly had an idea. No matter who you are or what your purpose is for coming here, just scare them away. Just as Shu Qing was about to speak, two old men walked down the stairs. A man and a woman. Lin Xiao's eyes were immediately attracted to them. You can tell at a glance that the two of them are quite old, but they are extremely energetic. From their appearance, you can still see the grace of their youth. Seeing Lin Xiao, the two of them were stunned for a moment and came to the front desk. Xiao Shu, who is this handsome guy? Does he look so tight? Shu Qing immediately showed respect on her face when she saw the two old men. Grandma Lu, Grandpa Zhao, I don't know how he came in. He said he was here to check in. Checking in, are we going to have a new partner again? What a great relationship. No one has been here for a long time. Seeing the two people's high spirits, Shu Qing was a little helpless. How could she explain it? It's not what you two think. I feel like this little guy is here to cause trouble. He wants to check in by himself. Hearing what Shu Qing said, Lu Zhao and Zhao Hua became more interested in Lin Xiao. Young man, how old are you? Why do you want to live in a nursing home? For some reason, Lin Xiao felt more friendly when he saw Lu Zhao and Zhao Hua at the first sight. Sister, why do you want to live here? The little guy has such a sweet mouth. I'm over 80 and I'm more than capable of being your grandma. Why do you still call me sister? Although Lu Zhao said this, she could not help but smile on her face. After a pause, he answered Lin Xiao's question. I live here naturally because I am retired and my children are busy. I still have some old friends here to keep me company, so I won't be bored. That's it, sister, just call me Lin Xiao. I don't know when you moved in, but since your final destination is a nursing home, why don't I move in now? If you move into a nursing home at the age of 18, you will be younger. It's been a detour for decades. Lu Zhao, _ although it feels weird, I have to admit that what this young man said makes sense. Zhao Hua also looked at Lin Xiao with interest. Only the people who stayed here knew what kind of nursing home it was. It was very interesting that this guy could come in and want to check in directly. Young man, that's interesting. Originally we wanted to attend Lao Suntu's birthday, but we're not in a hurry now. Let's see you check in first. Shu Qing couldn't help but rolled her eyes. These two people really didn't care about the excitement. How could she let him stay? But fortunately, I already had a way, so it was impossible for him to successfully move in. Mr. Lin, we already know your request, so let me tell you about our occupancy standards. Staying here with us is charged on an annual basis. The charging standard is 1 million a year and 5 years. 3 million, 5 million for life. To put it simply, the longer you stay, the more cost-effective it is. You really have come to the right place. As soon as he heard the price, Lin Xiao's eyes immediately widened. This nursing home was robbing money. Or do rich people really know how to play? Seeing the change in Lin Xiao's face, the smile on Shu Qing's face flashed away. This should scare the little guy away. In fact, there is no charging standard here at all. She could have refused Lin Xiao directly, but she was afraid that direct refusal would arouse Lin Xiao's suspicion and tell what happened here, so she gave a price that she thought Lin Xiao could not afford. She thought she had a very vicious vision, and with the way Lin Xiao was dressed and the temperament he displayed, it was absolutely impossible for him to pay 1 million. But soon Shu Qing was surprised to find that Lin Xiao's eyes became calm again. Lin Xiao was quickly calculating an account at this time. He looked at the environment here and found that if he wanted to find a rental house of this size outside, it would cost at least several thousand or even tens of thousands of yuan a month. In this case, it would only cost 100,000 yuan a year, about. If I could live to be 100 years old, I would still need more than 8 million. If you calculate it this way, it is definitely more cost-effective to stay there for life. 1 million a year and 3 million in 5 years were directly passed by him. He didn't rush to agree. He had other things to ask. He had some money now, but the total amount was only a little over 5 million. In the past, most of the money of the original owner was spent on Lu Ruyan, and he didn't even have 1,000 yuan. If the money was just for the cost of moving in, he would be living here. If it were for other places like eating, etc., there are extra charges, so I can't afford it. So before that, it's better to find out more clearly. Miss, I understand the charging standard. I wonder if I can get a discount. The price is clearly marked and no one can be deceived. If you refuse to counter-offer, there will be no refund. Lin Xiao, K. Pretty cool. Okay, I won't bargain. Then I would like to ask, if I sign up for lifelong check-in, are there any other fees? Are there any additional charges for meals, etc.? Shu Qing was stunned for a moment. She didn't expect that Lin Xiao hadn't been scared off yet. Soon she sneered, and she already understood Lin Xiao's intention. This is because I can't afford so much money, and I'm too embarrassed to refuse directly, so I want to find some faults and put the blame on myself. How childish, I really don't do what you want. Sir, don't worry about this. We charge a one-time fee. No matter how long you stay, there are no other expenses. We will cover all your food, drink, toilet, and sleep. Lin Xiao fell silent again. Everything was taken care of, and suddenly felt that it was still acceptable. Even though the money had just come into my hands, I was about to take it out before I could warm it up. I was really reluctant to part with it. Seeing Lin Xiao's troubled look, Shu Qing became more sure of her thoughts. She did not continue to urge Lin Xiao, but watched the show quietly. Lu Jiao and Jiao Hua did not interrupt. Lu Jiao looked at Jiao Hua beside him. Old Jiao, what do you think? Jiao Hua smiled. It's not that I look down on this young man. I feel that this young man is good, but he doesn't look like a rich man. I'm afraid he won't be able to afford so much money. Lu Jiao agreed with this, but for some reason, she always felt that something unexpected might happen. Lin Xiao was still at war with heaven and man in his heart. When he thought about the gangsters outside who were still blocking him, he might even get beaten if he went out. And when I think about the great men at the door, it might not be as easy as I thought to come here. Mud. Fight. If you are reluctant to let go of your child and can't ensnare the wolf, isn't it just 5 million? Money is something you don't take with you in life or death, just spend it. Although he thought this in his heart, Lin Xiao still felt heartache. In order to prevent himself from regretting it, Lin Xiao slapped his new bank card in front of Shu Qing. Then he rummaged in his pocket for a while, took out a dime and put it on his bank card. There are 4,999,999 yuan and 9 cents in the card. Adding this cent, it's exactly 5 million. Check in for me and stay here for life. At this moment, Lin Xiao knew what it meant to spend money like water. I also know what it means to be heartbroken. That's real money. Compared to Lin Xiao's distress, Shu Qing was a little at a loss. Oh my gosh, who can tell me why this guy can really spend 5 million? Is this really scientific? And what the hell is that dime? Is this insulting yourself? Shu Qing still can't believe that there are 5 million in the card Lin Xiao put on the table, but she doesn't want to actually swipe the card. If she really went for it, if she really had money, she would have no reason to stop Lin Xiao from moving in. This is not an ordinary nursing home, and not everyone can live in it. It's really unjustifiable to let Lin Xiao live here. For a moment, Shu Qing was in a dilemma. Well, why don't you think about it? Our beds here are already full. Xiao Shu, don't talk nonsense. We have a lot of empty beds here. Your grandpa Zhao and I are here. You can't lie. Young man, don't worry, we too will make the decision for you. As long as if you really have money in your card, I will definitely let you check in. Quote. Shu Qing. You two are my biological grandfather and grandmother, okay. It's not like you don't know where this place is. How could you let such an ignorant person live here? Lin Xiao still hadn't recovered from the heartache of losing so much money right after he got it. Hearing Shu Qing ask him to think about it, his heart was actually a little shaken. But in the end he gritted his teeth. Now that he had made his decision, he could no longer go back on it. Sister, please stop being so nagging and hurry up and swipe your card. Seeing Lin Xiao's expression as if he was about to die, coupled with Lu Jiao and Zhao Hua's encouragement, Shu Qing also gritted her teeth. In this case, I will check you in. She really doesn't believe that Lin Xiao has so much money in his card. There is still a card swiping machine here, so she started swiping her card directly and entered 5 million. After asking Lin Xiao to enter the password and seeing that the balance above was insufficient, a smile finally appeared on her face, even a little mocking. It's not scary to have no money, but it's wrong to pretend. Sorry, the balance is insufficient. Lin Xiao. ***. How can it be? This is what I just saved. Impossible. Miss, how much did you enter? 5 million. Lin Xiao immediately breathed a sigh of relief. Miss, you are confused. He pointed at the dime at the front desk. Didn't I say that the money in the card is only a dime short of 5 million? If you enter 5 million, the balance must be insufficient. Shu Qing. Filled circle, lower half circle, filled circle. It seems to be true. Lin Xiao said before that he subconsciously ignored it. She re-entered it, and when she saw that the deduction above was successful, she felt bad. Lin Xiao actually had so much money. At this moment, Shu Qing didn't know what to do. She turned her attention to Lu Jiao and Zhao Lin for help. Lu Jiao smiled, walked over and patted Shu Qing. Xiao Shu, if you don't have faith, you won't be established. Since you promised this young man, you can't break your promise. Check him in. If you have any problems, I will take care of it for you. We need some fresh blood here. After hearing Lu Jiao's words, Shu Qing was completely relieved. Grandma Lu, since you have spoken, there is no problem. I will help him check in right now. Okay, Mr. Lin, it's better to come sooner than later. Since you are also a member of our nursing home, after you finish checking in, you can go to Brother Sun's birthday party. Lin Xiao touched his nose. He knew that an old man had a birthday today, and it was because of this that he was mistakenly let in by the gatekeeper. If that's the case, it's okay to participate. I happen to be hungry, so I can go eat and drink. This is so embarrassing, and I didn't prepare a gift. It's okay, we haven't prepared anything, so let's do it. Xiao Shu, you can take him there later, and we'll go first. Okay, let's go slowly. Shu Qing looked at Lin Xiao and sighed again. What is going on? Forget it, let's take a step and take a look. He took out a sheet and handed it to Lin Xiao. Fill in your information. Lin Xiao took it and started filling it out seriously without any nonsense. Shu Qing took a photo of Lin Xiao's ID card and sent it to a friend in her green bubble. And typed a line of words quickly. Check this guy's information for me. I want to know all his information within half an hour. The other party did not reply, and Shu Qing did not urge her. She knew that the other party had seen it. Zhao Lin looked at Lu Jiao and couldn't help but feel confused. Zhao, why did you agree to let this little guy enter here? This is not something you can do. Zhao Lin, how many times have I told you, don't call me Zhao. As for that boy, don't worry, there will be no problem. It is fate that this boy is here. I don't believe he was sent by others, because that's asking for death, and don't you think it's interesting to have a young man living here? And don't many of us here always want to find an heir? Zhao Lin nodded. That's true, but we still have to wait until we find out the details of this kid. Don't talk about this, go celebrate Lao's son's birthday. Okay, Zhao, call me Zhao again, and I don't recommend making you suffer. Lin Xiao handed the filled-in form to Shu Qing. Shu Qing looked at it and found no problems before speaking slowly. Welcome to the Red Sun Nursing Home. I will take you to your room first. After the arrangements are made, I will take you to Mr. Sun's birthday party. After saying that, Shu Qing led the way directly, and Lin Xiao quickly followed. Shu Qing also told Lin Xiao about the situation here on the way. Nursing homes all have double rooms, not because there are not enough rooms, but to prevent the elderly from feeling lonely. This also means that Lin Xiao will have a roommate. From Shu Qing, Lin Xiao also found out that there were 107 elderly people here, and there were exactly 108 including him. This made Lin Xiao a little bit dumbfounded, and felt like he was going to hell. Shu Qing also remembered something at this time. Among the 107 elderly people, only one still lived in a single room. When this little guy came in, he seemed to want to live with that one. He was not an easy person to serve. Interesting, I wonder how long he can last. This is not something I need to worry about. Everything depends on the fate of this little guy. At this moment, Shu Qing's cell phone rang. Shu Qing took a look and found that it was Lin Xiao's message. She immediately started to check it. If Lin Xiao saw the above information, he would be shocked. The above description of him was very detailed, which orphanage he was in before, some of the evil things he did in childhood, and what he awakened to. What kind of special powers, how he worked several jobs to lick Lu Ruyan, how he earned 5 million, and how he got into the nursing home by accident were all investigated clearly. It only took about 10 minutes from the time Shu Qing asked someone to check Lin Xiao's information. It can be seen that this nursing home is definitely not as simple as a nursing home. Seeing Lin Xiao's message, Shu Qing also breathed a sigh of relief. At least Lin Xiao was not arranged to come here. There are really all kinds of wonders in this world. If I had known better, I would have said more. Who knows that this guy has exactly 5 million? Maybe this is fate. Shu Qing believed that even if her price was quoted a little higher, Lin Xiao might not be able to pay. But it's useless to say more now. Lin Xiao's move-in is a foregone conclusion, so let's leave it at that. Also, I really didn't expect that such a handsome boy could be an idiot. Thinking of this, Shu Qing's look at Lin Xiao was somewhat intriguing. Lin Xiao also felt Shu Qing's gaze, and he couldn't help but shudder. Don't look at me so lustfully, I'm scared. Shu Qing couldn't help rolling her eyes, and lightning flashed in her hands again. This time Lin Xiao could see it clearly, and he was even more surprised. You must know that the lightning power can be said to be a rare power, and not everyone can awaken it. And the young lady in front of me turned out to be a person with lightning powers. But a person with thunder powers is willing to be the front desk of an ordinary nursing home. When he thought about how the janitor was also very skilled, Lin Xiao once again felt that the nursing home in front of him was not that simple. Where exactly have I arrived? At this moment, Lin Xiao even regretted a little. Did he come to a place he shouldn't have been? Is it too late to leave now? Then I thought, I can't spend my 5 million in vain. I'll take care of it now that I've got it, so let's take a look first. Shu Qing quickly brought Lin Xiao to his room. It was on the first floor, so it wasn't too much trouble. Uncle Lin, this is your room. I don't know if you are satisfied with it. Shu Qing didn't know if she was deliberately trying to hurt Lin Xiao and put emphasis on the uncle. Lin Xiao. Degree. In just this moment, he became a senior. Xiao Shu, this is called an uncle, you are so sensible. I am very satisfied with this place. Shu Qing was speechless. This guy was really shameless. He said he was fat and had asthma. She immediately turned from a little sister to a little Shu. Forget it, as long as he is happy. After entering the room, Lin Xiao was very satisfied with the conditions here. The layout here is very luxurious, no worse than a 5-star hotel. Although Lin Xiao has never been to a 5-star hotel, he has never eaten pork. He has always seen pigs running, and he has seen it on his mobile phone. It was obvious that there was another person living here. To Lin Xiao's surprise, there was no old man smell in the house. The quilt was folded extremely neatly and everything was in order, which made Lin Xiao feel relieved. At least from now on, there was nothing here that dissatisfied him. Uncle Lin, do you have any questions? Xiao Shu, I'm really good at it. You've seen it too. I came in a hurry and didn't bring anything with me. Do you think I have a change of clothes? You can rest assured that our nursing home will provide all the supplies necessary for life. You can rest assured of this. That's good, then I'll feel relieved. At this moment, Lin Xiao suddenly felt that the 5 million was well spent, but he didn't know what the other measures here were like, such as food. But don't worry, you should be able to see it soon. Uncle Lin, you have seen the situation here. I will take you to Grandpa Sun's birthday party. I will introduce you to the facilities of other nursing homes later. Lin Xiao had no objection to this. He had been hungry for a long time, and it was undoubtedly a very good idea to go for a free meal. And today was the birthday of this old man's son, whom he had never met before. If it weren't for this, he wouldn't be able to get in. Maybe he would have been blocked by the gangsters and beaten up, so he had to go and see for this. Okay, Xiao Shu, lead the way. Seeing that Lin Xiao was calling her Xiao Shu more and more easily, Shu Qing was too lazy to argue with Lin Xiao. I hope you, little guy, can still laugh later. No longer paying attention to Lin Xiao, Shu Qing took Lin Xiao directly to the cafeteria of the nursing home. The birthday party was held in the cafeteria, and she also wanted to go there to express her blessings to Mr. Sun. It didn't take long to arrive at the cafeteria of the nursing home. When Lin Xiao saw the scale of the cafeteria, he was shocked again. This is not a cafeteria, it's not an exaggeration to say it's a star restaurant. How much investment has been made in this nursing home? Suddenly I felt that I only spent 5 million to move in, which didn't seem to be much at all. After entering the so-called canteen, Lin Xiao was shocked by the luxury here again. The only thing that surprised him was that there seemed to be very few service staff here, at least from the time they came in until now, no service staff came to greet them. Xiao Shu, what's going on? Where are the service staff here? Shu Qing looked at Lin Xiao helplessly. Hee, do you think anyone can come to our nursing home if they want to? Do you know how many people are scrambling to be waiters here? But they are not worthy. Shu Qing did not continue to explain, that was all she could say. Lin Xiao fell into deep thought. He did not think Shu Qing was joking. He did not ask much, just let himself slowly unveil the mystery here. Just when Shu Qing wanted to take Lin Xiao to the birthday party, 3 men and 1 woman came in from outside. The leader looked quite old and was holding a gift box in his hand. Shu Qing frowned. It seemed that there were a lot of strangers in the nursing home today. The 3 men and 1 woman saw Shu Qing, and did not have any intention of neglecting her because of her young age. Hello, my wife and I are here to celebrate my father's birthday. These 2 are my son and grandson, and we have reported them. Shu Qing then realized that the reason why she was at the front desk today was to wait for this family. After being disturbed by Lin Xiao, she forgot about the business. Knowing the origins of these people, Shu Qing just smiled faintly. What a coincidence, we are just about to go there, you can come with us. Okay, sorry for the trouble. Lin Xiao didn't say anything. The gatekeeper let him in just because this family was coming. Now that he met the real owner, he felt a little guilty. He found that the family looked at him with curiosity. After all, it was a bit abrupt for a teenager dressed so simply to appear here. While this family was looking at Lin Xiao was also looking at them. Judging from their clothes, this family must not be ordinary people. On second thought, according to the charging standards here, can ordinary people still live here? The old man in the lead looked to be at least 60 or 70 years old, and he should be old enough to live here. The woman should be the old man's wife. She was well maintained and looked to be in her 40s or 50s. The other 2 were their son and grandson. What surprised Lin Xiao was that the 3 men present were all muscular. Could this be a bodybuilding family? The middle-aged man was okay. He nodded slightly to Lin Xiao and looked away. On the contrary, the guy who was about the same age as him looked at him with a provocative look. This made Lin Xiao a little confused. By the way, this was the first time he saw this guy, right? Did he provoke him? Shu Qing led a few people towards the house, and Lin Xiao and others followed immediately. Lin Xiao discovered that the guy who was similar to himself had arrived beside him at some point. Hello, don't know what to call me. Lin Xiao frowned, feeling that this guy had bad intentions. My name is Lin Xiao, but before asking others, shouldn't you introduce yourself? I'm sorry, my name is Sun Bin. I am 18 years old. I am a level 2 superpower user, SS level animal transformation type, white tiger of the animal transformation type. Hearing Sun Bin's self-introduction, Lin Xiao took a breath. Although he has just been reborn into this world, he still knows the level of cultivation in this world because he absorbed the memory of the original owner. The cultivation levels in this world are divided into levels 1 to 9, with the lowest being level 1 and the highest being level 9. Whether they are humans or spiritual beasts, they are all classified according to this level. Sun Bin is already a level 2 awakener at such a young age. Why doesn't this surprise him? You must know that under normal circumstances, in the 3rd year of high school, the school is responsible for awakening students. Successful awakening is a first-level awakener. The whole country awakened at the same time, but it has only been a few days since awakening, and the guy in front of me is already a level 2 awakener. Although some families can speed up the cultivation of their children through a large amount of resources, it is impossible for a person to go from a first-level awakened person to a second-level awakened person in just a few days. Then, there is only one explanation. This Sun Bin awakened independently. Awakening types are divided into autonomous awakening and passive awakening. In this world, everyone can awaken, but there is not even a 1 in 10,000 chance of being able to awaken on their own. Most people are awakened through the awakening ceremony in school when they are 17 or 18 years old. Autonomous awakening means that these people did not participate in the awakening ceremony and awakened on their own before the awakening ceremony. Most of these people are the proud ones of heaven. The earlier they awaken, the greater their potential will be. For example, if a person awakens at the age of 10, it means that this person has 7 or 8 more years of cultivation time than those who passively awaken. How can this not be enviable? You also need to know your own school. Saji Boxiao is an S-level student. Just like that, the school is very happy. And Sun Bin turned out to be SS level. How could this not surprise him? Sure enough, the world has never been short of geniuses. Although he had already chosen to lie down, Lin Xiao still felt that he was deeply stimulated. After all, I am a time traveler. When I came to this world, it was fine without a golden finger. Why did I awaken an F-level garbage power? It's so infuriating to see people compare to each other. However, Lin Xiao quickly cheered up. He had no other advantages except being open-minded. Otherwise, given his condition, he would have been depressed long ago. Seeing Lin Xiao's expression constantly changing, Sun Bin was also a little confused. Hey, I've already introduced you here, shouldn't you introduce yourself in detail? Sun Bin did not deliberately control his voice during the conversation with Lin Xiao, so the other people also pricked up their ears. They were also very curious about Lin Xiao's situation. Actually, there's nothing to say. I'm not a genius like you. I'm just an ordinary person. I can only awaken the most rubbish F-level powers. Sun Bin looked unbelieving. Are you lying? If you awakened an F-level power, how could you enter here? I'm not even qualified, so why can you work here? Lin Xiao smiled bitterly. What kind of place did he inadvertently break into? Are SS-level psychics not worthy of working here? But I don't work here. Thinking of this, Lin Xiao chuckled. Get out of the way. I'm going to start showing off. I don't work here, I live here. If you don't believe me, you can ask Xiao Shu. Shu Qing looked at the sky speechlessly. This guy really had no shame at all. But she really couldn't say anything to refute. Everything this guy said was the truth. Seeing the verification looks from Sun Bin and others, she didn't bother to explain. Yes, he didn't lie. When Shu Qing said this, the eyes of several people present immediately looked at Lin Xiao differently. Sun Bin's eyes became extremely complicated. Lin Xiao didn't know how to describe this look. There were 3 parts shock, 3 parts admiration and 4 parts guilt in his eyes. Sun Bin raised his hand directly to Lin Xiao. I'm sorry, I'm disrespectful. I was reckless before and questioned you. If you have any orders in the future, just give them. Of course Sun Bin knew how difficult it was to live here. Even if Lin Xiao's power was only F-level, he didn't think much about it. He might have made outstanding contributions to the country in other fields. Shu Qing knew that the family had misunderstood, but she was too lazy to explain. Anyway, they will go back after Mr. Sun's birthday, so there is no need to explain. Lin Xiao heard a different meaning from Sun Bin's words. According to Sun Bin's meaning, not everyone can stay here, and all the people who live here are not ordinary people. Tisk tisk, let yourself get to know this place slowly. He didn't want to tell Sun Bin that he just paid for it. There was a misunderstanding, but it didn't seem like a bad thing to let him continue to misunderstand. Okay, just know you're wrong, Xiao Shu, don't be stunned, don't delay Mr. Sun's birthday. Shu Qing, Pan, this guy really knows how to climb up the pole. He really forgot how he lived here. Forget it, let him be. If this matter was spread, it would not look good on his face. At this time, Shu Qing led a few people to a separate hall. After opening the door, there was a banquet held for Mr. Sun's birthday. Several people entered one after another, and Lin Xiao's eyes immediately glanced around. The people sitting here should all be elderly people in nursing homes. Lin Xiao also saw Lu Jiao and Jiao Hua. Although the old people present were a little old, they all looked very energetic. Among them, he even saw some disabled people, but there was no trace of decadence on their faces. Every one of them had a smile on their face, and they were all representatives of the disabled and strong-minded. In the center of the hall, there sat an energetic old man with muscles all over his body. Lin Xiao was sure that he would not be able to withstand the opponent's punch. If it weren't for the silver hair on that end, Lin Xiao would have felt that he might not even be 60 years old. Looking at the three muscular men around me, if they weren't from a bodybuilding family, it would really be unreasonable. I think this person should be the protagonist this time, Mr. Sun. You really get stronger with age. Several people pushed the door open and naturally attracted the attention of everyone in the hall. Mr. Sun looked at the people entering the door with a smile on his face. These guys have some conscience and haven't forgotten that today is their birthday. Why is there a little guy the first don't recognize? Don't you remember having such a grandson? Could it be his son or grandson's illegitimate child outside? This little guy has thin arms and legs, doesn't he look like his own species? By bringing everyone here, Shu Qing's mission is completed. She was not qualified to participate in the birthday here. She knew herself, nodded to the old people around her, and left directly. Lin Xiao was left alone and messy here. Lin Xiao didn't know what to do, whether to leave with Shu Qing or to stay here. When he saw the rich food on the table, he knew what he should do. Nothing can stop him from eating and drinking. Anyway, he is thick-skinned enough, and Lu Jiao and Zhao Hua asked him to come, so it is justified. He is afraid of being a dick. Sun Bin's family came directly to Mr. Sun at this time. My son Sun Qing, together with my daughter-in-law Zhou Ruian, my eldest grandson Sun Hong, and my great-grandson Sun Bin, wish my father to be as blessed as the East Sea and live as long as the southern mountains. This is my gift. It is your favorite spring tea, father. Sun Qing handed over a large bag of spring tea, weighing at least 5 or 6 kilograms. Mr. Sun nodded. He only wanted this one, so the little guys had to worry about it. He was extremely satisfied when he saw that each of his little ones had inherited his excellent genes. Okay, everyone, please find a seat and sit down. After arranging these people from the Sun family, everyone's eyes fell on Lin Xiao. Under the gaze of these people, Lin Xiao felt that he was locked in. Although these people did not specifically exude any pressure, Lin Xiao felt a huge pressure concentrated on him. I lost it. Who are these people? Just a few casual glances at myself made me feel so much pressure. Lin Xiao looked at Lu Jiao and Zhao Hua for help. Now that Shu Qing has left, these two are the only ones who really know his identity. Seeing Lin Xiao's gaze, Lu Jiao and Zhao Hua looked at each other and pretended not to see it. Lin Xiao. *II. This is setting yourself up for death. I looked at the food on the table again and swallowed. Nothing could stop me from eating the food on the table. If you don't explain yourself, it's not like you don't have a mouth. Hello everyone, I am a new member who just moved in today. My name is Lin Xiao. Please take good care of me in the future. As soon as they heard that Lin Xiao was the new person staying here, everyone immediately became interested. You must know that most of the people here lived here when the Red Sun nursing home was first established. Although some people have moved in later, on average, one person a year is good. Why did a new person suddenly arrive, and he was so young, but they didn't hear anything about it? Seeing that these people were looking at him more eagerly, Lin Xiao could only bite the bullet. Today is my first day here, and I happened to catch up with Brother Sun's birthday party. I came here shamelessly. Because I didn't know about it in advance, I didn't prepare any gifts. Please bear with me, Brother Sun. No, I can only give 30 million to Brother Sun. He must be healthy, happy, and happy. In addition, I wish Brother Sun a happy birthday and a long life. Lin Xiao felt that what he said was impeccable, and these people should agree with him. However, Lin Xiao soon felt that something was unusual. After he finished speaking, the scene fell into an eerie silence, which was a bit scary. Lin Xiao found that many people present were trying hard to hold back their laughter, looking like they wanted to laugh but were embarrassed. On the contrary, the faces of the Sun family were extremely ugly. The faces of Sun Qing and others were not good-looking. As expected by Lin Xiao, after all, in order to show his identity, he deliberately raised his seniority and gave himself a super senior, called the birthday boy, Brother Sun. Isn't it them, the elders? But why did he say so many blessings, and why did the birthday boy's face look so ugly? Just when Lin Xiao was at a loss, Lu Jiao coughed lightly. Ahem. Lin Xiao's eyes immediately shifted. He found that the corners of Lu Jiao's eyes were full of smiles, and then winked at him. Following Lu Jiao's gaze, Lin Xiao discovered a banner in front of the birthday girl. It reads, Happy 99th birthday to Mr. Sun. Lin Xiao. Ing. Is there a problem? There seems to be no problem. Why are these people holding back their laughter? Etc. Why did you wish your birthday boy just now? Longevity. How old is Mr. Sun's birthday today? 99. Didn't he curse him to die next year? No wonder he looks so ugly. Is it too late to take it back now? I really have no brains. My great-grandson is already so old, and he must be quite young too. How could I make such a stupid mistake? Ahem. Brother Sun, don't blame me. I'm new here and don't understand many things. I wish you a long life, brother. Hearing what Lin Xiao said, many old people present could no longer hold back and finally laughed out loud. This made Lin Xiao even more embarrassed, and he almost couldn't help but find a crack in the ground and crawl in. Fortunately, he was thick-skinned enough, so he didn't run away. Sun Ziyuan is today's birthday boy. Although he is very surprised by the appearance of Lin Xiao, an outsider, he is a guest after all. It is not good to just kick Lin Xiao out, otherwise he will definitely be laughed at by these old guys below. He could only suppress his temper and nodded to Lin Xiao. Little brother, please take a seat quickly. Since you are already a new member of our nursing home, we will be in contact for a long time in the future. I will definitely take good care of you in the future. Lin Xiao shuddered. He could tell that Sun Ziyuan deliberately emphasized his tone when talking about caring. This care may not be the care he thought. Looking at the tendon meat of this old man, Lin Xiao felt a big headache. Is it too late to escape now? Phew, how could I even think about escaping? I just spent 5 million to live here. It would be a shame to run away for your own little money. And now that I'm sitting down, I must have a good meal. Even if I die, I will be a satiated ghost. Thinking of this, Lin Xiao immediately found a seat and sat down. Because he didn't know many people, only Lu Jiao and Sun Hua. Sun Hua's table was obviously full, and there was still room at Lu Jiao's side, so he didn't feel polite and sat directly next to Lu Jiao. Sister, you are not kind. Why didn't you explain to me just now? Lu Jiao covered her mouth and smiled. Little brother, I can't explain your current situation directly, and aren't you doing well yourself? Don't mention that, it's embarrassing. You know how embarrassing it is. Listen to my sister, your good days have just begun. Lin Xiao looked at the sky speechlessly. Are this good day and the good day he wants the same thing? Also, why do I feel cold on my back and why do I always feel like there are many unkind eyes falling on me? Is it my own illusion? It must be an illusion. Sitting with Lu Jiao were all grandmothers from the nursing home. Lin Xiao discovered that although the years passed by and their youth was gone, these grandmothers still had charm. Each one had their own characteristics. It felt like these old people were all stunning beauties when they were young. Although Zhao Hua is not sitting here, he is very close to Lin Xiao. Zhao Hua patted Lin Xiao on the shoulder. Young man, you are really brave. You must know that these people at your table have many suitors in our nursing home. They are not qualified to sit here, but you are it's not polite at all and will definitely upset a lot of people. Lin Xiao finally understood why he felt a chill down his spine. It turned out to be this reason. These people won't even be jealous of themselves. Brother Zhao, don't scare me, I'm only a 216-month-old child. I understand what you are saying, but others may not think so. Just wish yourself well. Lu Jiao shocked face filled down pointing triangle Zhang filled down pointing triangle me winking face oh. Old Jiaodo, don't scare Shaolin. We will cause trouble for anyone who dares to cause trouble for him. We will protect Xiao Jiao from now on. Sisters, don't you think so? That's right, we're covered. Little brother, if someone dares to bully you, sisters will support you. Everyone at the table expressed their willingness to support Lin Xiao, and there was nothing they could do about it. I have been in a nursing home for a while. Shu Qing is not the only service staff here, but without exception, they are all little girls. They had almost forgotten how long it had been since they met such a spirited young man as Lin Xiao. Not to mention that Lin Xiao is very handsome. Although they didn't have any other thoughts about Lin Xiao, it was nice to have such a handsome boy next to them for eye candy. With the support of so many grandmothers, Lin Xiao's back has become much stronger. The movement here also caught Sun Ziyuan's attention. He felt that his limelight was stolen by this little guy today. Forget it, With so many people watching, I won't compete with this little guy. I hope this guy doesn't fall into his hands. Everyone, it's getting late. Let's get going. Let's eat and drink well. As soon as Sun Ziyuan's voice fell, Lin Xiao's stomach growled in response to the situation. Xiao Lin, you're hungry. Eat quickly. We haven't had such a rich meal here for a long time. You're welcome. After Lu Jiao finished speaking, she picked up a piece of meat and placed it in front of Lin Xiao. The others also kept picking up food for Lin Xiao. This made Lin Xiao a little flattered. Neither his previous life nor the original owner of this body had ever received such treatment, which made him sore for no reason. He immediately picked up his chopsticks and started to eat hungrily. Lu Jiao noticed something strange about Lin Xiao, but she didn't say anything. He just gave Lin Xiao some food again. She finally figured out that the little guy in front of her might be a poor person too. The situation here once again made many little old men around unhappy. Why, my Wenwen didn't even pick up food for me. You can pull me down, your Wenwen is my Wenwen. I want to kill this kid, my Xiaoqin, how can you pick up food for him? Such discussions filled the entire hall, but Lin Xiao didn't care about it at all at this time. He just immersed himself in his work. While eating, he also felt the long-lost warmth. This feeling made him feel very comfortable. While Lin Xiao was still devouring the food, he suddenly felt heat flowing out of his body. This was something he had never felt before. He felt extremely hot, but at the same time he felt very comfortable. However, this comfort only lasted for a while, and the heat in his body became violent. Lin Xiao felt that his body was about to burst. Lin Xiao doesn't know what's going on. Is there poison in this dish? Lu Jiao discovered something was wrong with Lin Xiao right away. Lin Xiao's current situation is naturally not poisoning, but a deficiency that has not been replenished and has been over-replenished. Why have I forgotten this little guy's cultivation? It's a bit reluctant to say that he is a first-level superpower. His body will definitely not be able to bear the sudden consumption of so many powerful supplements. Of course, with him here, Lin Xiao won't have any accidents. Lu Jiao gently raised her hand, and a green light appeared in her hand, and the green light disappeared into Lin Xiao's body. Lin Xiao only felt an extremely gentle energy entering his body, which immediately calmed down the violent energy in his body. He felt much more comfortable and looked at Lu Jiao in surprise. Lu Jiao turned out to be a rare healer. A strong healer was very rare. A good healer was what any team would strive to win over. And Lin Xiao had a vague feeling that Lu Jiao's level was not low. He didn't ask any more questions. He already knew that this place was not simple. He wanted to slowly explore the situation here. It was not appropriate to ask rashly. Thank you, sister, what's wrong with me? It's nothing, you just overdid it. Lin Xiao. Overdone. How is it possible? How many mouthfuls did I eat just now? I didn't eat anything big. How come I overdid it? Lu Jiao smiled. It's not that your cultivation level is too low. Look, this pork is the 7th level spiritual beast thorn wild boar, this chicken is the 6th level colorful golden pheasant, and this fish is the 7th level ice base. Anyway, there are no spirit beasts below level 5 on this table. Although these spirit beasts have been dead for a while, they still contain a lot of spiritual power in their bodies. Naturally, your small body cannot handle it. Quote. Lin Xiao. N. summation, degree. Who can tell me what is going on? Although his cultivation level is relatively low, the original body owner's theoretical knowledge is very solid, and he still knows something about the situation of spiritual beasts in this world. Spiritual beasts of level 5 and above are capable of slaughtering a town. However, all of the things on the table are spirit beasts of level 5 or above. How terrifying a place has he come to? Seeing Lin Xiao's shocked look, Lu Jiao smiled. Although I can help you stabilize this energy, you can't eat more, otherwise, your body will still be damaged. Lin Xiao's face immediately turned bitter. There were so many delicacies placed in front of him, but he couldn't enjoy them. Apart from others robbing him of his small money, there was nothing more painful than this. But his eyes quickly focused on those green vegetables. Lu Jiao also saw Lin Xiao's thoughts, and she smiled slightly. Those are also rare herbs. Although the medicinal properties are milder, your current body is really not suitable for continuing to take them. Lin Xiao looked at the sky speechlessly. What evil had he done? Okay, you kid, don't take advantage of it and behave like this. These things are out there. You don't know how much it costs to have such a meal. Just have fun secretly. Even what you just ate has benefited you a lot. Quote. What Lu Jiao said was true. Although he only ate a small portion, Lin Xiao already felt full. He had never felt so powerful. He felt like he could kill a cow with 3 punches. What is the most painful thing in the world? If you ask Lin Xiao now, he will definitely tell you that a large table of delicious food is placed in front of you, but he cannot eat it and does not dare to eat again. The birthday party continued. Lin Xiao couldn't eat and drink, so he started to look around. He found that the old people here had no worries at all when eating those dishes. There was no problem that he couldn't bear it. This was a big problem in itself. The elder sisters at Lin Xiao's table kept asking about Lin Xiao's situation. Except for Lu Jiao, who knew how Lin Xiao got in, no one else knew. Lin Xiao also saw how gossipy women can be. It is said that 3 women can make a show, but a table of women can make so many plays. Lin Xiao did not hide any of these people's questions, and soon his information was clearly asked by these grandmothers. There were even a few people who wanted to introduce their granddaughters to Lin Xiao. This frightened Lin Xiao. He had no plans to talk to his girlfriend in the short term. Lin Xiao's polite refusal made those old babies feel very sorry, but they also knew that feelings cannot be forced. Lu Jiao sighed on the side. This little guy is also true. He doesn't know what a huge opportunity he has missed. Among those who introduced him to his wife, none of them were famous figures. If Lin Xiao really becomes the grandson-in-law of any of them, he will really reach the sky in one step. The birthday party lasted for more than 2 hours. Lin Xiao originally came to eat and drink, but later on he could only watch, which was even a bit torturous for him. As a newcomer, he was embarrassed to leave alone when no one else left the table, so he could only chat with Lu Jiao and others to relieve the embarrassment. His mouth was still very sweet, and he made the old people at the table very happy. Lin Xiao once thought about whether he could get some information out of these old people, but he gave up soon. Apart from knowing the names of some old people, he didn't get any useful information. Every time when he asked about the situation in the nursing home, he was dealt with in an understatement by these old fritters. To put it simply, they were asking for most of his information, but he didn't get any information about this place. This can't be blamed on Lu Jiao and others. It's not time to tell Lin Xiao about the news here. At least they had to wait until Xu Qing found out all Lin Xiao's information before they would consider whether to tell Lin Xiao about the situation here. The reason why Lu Jiao kept Lin Xiao was because of a temporary decision. As for what to do next, we have to wait until we know Lin Xiao better. During this period, Sun Ziyuan toasted table after table, and naturally he would not leave this table behind. They were talking and laughing with everyone, except Lin Xiao, who didn't dare to say anything and could only laugh along with him. After all, I had cursed someone before. If this happened to me, I would not look good on the person who cursed me. The birthday party was finally over and everyone left. Lin Xiao is naturally no exception. His room has been arranged, and he is going to meet his roommate next. I don't know who my roommate is and whether I can get along with him or not. Originally, he wanted to find Xu Qing and ask Xu Qing to take him there, but after searching around, he couldn't find where Xu Qing had gone. After thinking about it, he could only bite the bullet and head towards the room assigned to him. The room was closed, and Lin Xiao didn't know if his roommate was back. Out of courtesy, he knocked on the door anyway. Enter. A powerful voice came from the room, and Lin Xiao frowned. For some reason, he felt that the voice was familiar, but he couldn't remember whose voice it was. Now was not the time to think about this. Lin Xiao opened the door and walked in. As soon as he entered the room, Lin Xiao knew why the voice sounded familiar. It only took half a day to arrive at the nursing home. There were not many people who really talked to him, and the person in front of him happened to be one of them. It is Sun Ziyuan, the protagonist of today's birthday party. Lin Xiao. You can't be so unlucky, right? Why are you assigned to this person? Isn't this going to cost you your own life? And it's true, old man, your children have come all the way to see you. Why do you come back so soon? Don't you spend more time with your children? Sun Ziyuan was a little surprised to see Lin Xiao, but he soon understood why Lin Xiao appeared here. This guy said that he was a new mover, and it seemed that he was in a separate room now. It seems that Xiao Shu arranged for this guy to be with him. Hee, I really didn't expect that this kid would fall into his hands so quickly. Thinking of this, Sun Ziyuan shook his neck, making a clicking sound, and a smile that he thought was very kind appeared on his face. Shaolin, you will be your roommate from now on. I will definitely take good care of you. Sun Ziyuan didn't know how terrifying the smile he thought was very kind looked to Lin Xiao. This is my new roommate. What sin have I committed? Although he was unwilling to do so in his heart, Lin Xiao also knew that he could only endure it now. Brother Sun, I really didn't expect you to be my roommate. What happened before was a complete misunderstanding. I hope you will not remember the villain's fault. Sun Ziyuan looked at Lin Xiao in surprise, and suddenly felt that this little guy was a little interesting. Even if you were like this, you still dare to get close to him. What this old man calls you is so friendly. His great-grandson is older than him and calls him brother. Maybe it would be good to have such a little guy by his side. Don't worry, what happened before is nothing serious, and I won't argue with a little guy like you. But what I'm curious about now is, how did you move in? Lin Xiao thought for a while and decided to tell the story exactly. When Sun Ziyuan learned that this kid came in by mistake because of his birthday, he didn't know what to say. I must have a good chat with Lao Zhang tomorrow. This guy really has no eyesight at all. How could a guy with such thin arms and legs appear in our old Sun family? And how did Xiao Shu do things? People actually paid money to move in. If you had money you could live here, but this place would be overcrowded. This guy is really lucky. Why should I explain this to such a little guy when I check in? While Sun Ziyuan was still thinking about this, his cell phone rang. He picked up his phone and looked at it, and found a message from a loving family in the nursing home. Everyone went to the conference room for a meeting to discuss the stay of new member Lin Xiao. Sun Ziyuan secretly said that it was indeed the case. It seemed that this boy was likely to be eliminated. I don't know why am I reluctant to let go? I must be fooling myself, forget it, this is not something I can decide. The specific situation depends on the fate of this boy. Lin Xiao was already prepared to be punished by Sun Ziyuan. Although Sun Ziyuan was old, but looking at the muscle lumps all over his body, he knew that Zhang was still old and spicy. I was afraid that 100 of them would not be Sun Ziyuan's opponent. Unexpectedly, Sun Ziyuan had no intention of dealing with him. He looked at his phone and was about to go out. Boy, stay in the house and don't run around. If you see something you shouldn't see, even the gods can't save you. Lin Xiao shocked face "Oh, do you want to say it is so scary?" After thinking about it, Lin Xiao nodded obediently. Don't worry, brother Sun, I promise to stay here well. Sun Ziyuan gave Lin Xiao a look of recognition, then put on his coat and went out directly. Lin Xiao walked to the door and found that the old people in the surrounding rooms were also walking out one after another, and many of them kept their eyes lingering on him. This made Lin Xiao couldn't help but touch his nose. Although you are handsome, you are all gentlemen, so you will be scared if you look at yourself like this. Lin Xiao also discovered that these people were all heading in the same direction. Could they be going to a meeting? Do you want to follow me and have a look? As soon as this thought came into his mind, Lin Xiao immediately put an end to this dangerous thought. For some reason, he felt that Sun Ziyuan's warning just now was not a joke on him. It's better to rest here obediently. The energy contained in the food just eaten was extremely powerful. Although it was neutralized by Lu Zhao's healing energy, Lin Xiao still felt a sense of heat coming from time to time. Lin Xiao decided to take a cold shower to relieve himself of the heat. When Lin Xiao went to take a shower, all the elderly people in the nursing home came to the conference room. At Sun Ziyuan's birthday party, many people were drunk, but after just a while, everyone was very sober and there was no sign of drinking. After everyone took their seats, Shu Qing walked onto the podium. Seniors, I'm sorry. Today, due to the mistakes of Uncle Zhang and I, a young man who shouldn't have appeared in our nursing home appeared in our nursing home. And because of my mistake, he checked in. This is my mistake. I will take responsibility, and I have also reported this matter to the superiors. The superiors, attitude on this matter is very vague. Simply put, it depends on your wishes. Whether he goes or stays depends on the senior's wishes. Quote. Shu Qing's words stunned everyone present. This incident actually alarmed the superiors. You must know that the people above are very busy. Now they are speaking out because of such a trivial matter. In this way, the nature of the matter has changed. Many people present were still very interested in this young man who suddenly appeared. Xiao Shu, I believe you have found out the information about this little guy. Before we decide whether to stay or go, please introduce his basic information to us. Shu Qing nodded and began to introduce the details of Lin Xiaoxi had obtained to everyone present. Shu Qing's conscientious introduction was listened to by the elderly people in the audience with great interest. Tisk, 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 I have a clean life experience and no stains. It's not bad. I have excellent academic performance. I was once rated as an outstanding student in the city. I work hard in my spare time and am a good kid. The key is to be sure that his intrusion was completely accidental and was not sent in by anyone with a special purpose. It can be believed. The old people were talking a lot, and Sun Ziyuan found that many people had a pretty good attitude towards Lin Xiao. More of them are grandmothers in nursing homes. Can you really do whatever you want if you are handsome? Of course there are dissenting voices. It's only F-level abilities that have been awakened. It's not appropriate for such a person to stay here. Anyway, I don't like this little guy. Although he is not a threat, I feel very unhappy when I see him. This child must not be kept. What do you think of us? Regarding Lin Xiao's question, everyone present had different opinions and had their own ideas. Shu Qing rubbed her temples. This matter happened because of her, so she naturally wanted to resolve it properly. She didn't want Lin Xiao to stay here. At that time, she was already prepared not to let Lin Xiao move, and even if he gave her money. But in the end, things took a turn for the better because of the appearance of Lu Jiao and Zhao Hua. So at this time, she wanted to know why Lu Jiao and Zhao Hua chose to let this boy stay. Everyone, be quiet. In fact, I was planning to drive this kid away at that time. Grandma Lu Jiao and Grandpa Zhao Hua kept him. I want to know why the two seniors chose to keep him. Hearing what Shu Qing said, Lu Jiao stood up directly. Zhao Hua actually didn't speak at the time. Everything was decided by her. After making this decision, she naturally had her own thoughts. Brothers, sisters, younger brothers and sisters, listen to me. We have lived here for a long time. Don't you feel that something is missing here? Although we have no worries about food and clothing here, it is too boring here and something is missing. Kind of vitality. This guy Lin Xiao came here by chance. It's fate. I feel like this guy can bring us different vitality. Now this kid's identity is clear and he is innocent, so you don't have to worry about his identity. This is the main reason why I plan to keep him. Of course, there is another reason. I think this kid is more pleasing to the eye. I feel that I can keep him for a while and observe him for a while. If this kid is not suitable to stay here, I can let him. It's not too late for him to leave. Lu Jiao's words made many old people agree. Living here is indeed a bit boring. Although the staff members like Shu Qing are young, they respect them too much and are not as tolerant as Lin Xiao. Lin Xiao's appearance may really make this place glow with different vitality. Seeing this, Lu Jiao knew that many people were moved, so she decided to strike while the iron was hot. This is my personal opinion, and everyone can express their own opinions. If they object, give the reasons for their objection. As soon as Lu Jiao finished speaking, an old man in a white coat stood up. I feel that this kid is not suitable to stay here. After all, we have too many secrets here, and knowing too much may not be a good thing for him. Lu Jiao looked at the old man and smiled slightly. Brother Li Tai, I understand what you said. It will be good for you to have this little guy stay. Don't you need a guinea pig for the things you study? Our old bones can't stand your torture. The staff here also have their own things to be busy with. Lin Xiao is different, he is your best test subject. Quote. Li Tai was stunned, it seemed like this was the case. Lin Xiao staying here seems to really help his research. How could he object at this time? It happened that he had recently studied some new things and was lacking a test subject. Good. What I said makes sense. At this time, another old man stood up. I still feel something is wrong. Leaving Mr. Lin here seems too childish. Brother Joe, this guy is here for life, and we can kick him out at any time. I also know that many of you here have their own skills. Maybe this little guy can become everyone's apprentice. Of course, this we also need to further observe the character of this little guy. Forget it, that's all I have to say. Let's vote by a show of hands. If more than half of the people agree, let this kid stay. If you have no objection, let's vote and agree to this. Raise your hands for those who are staying temporarily. Lu Jiao was the first to raise her hand after speaking. With Lu Jiao taking the lead, many people raised their hands one after another. After that, more and more people agreed, and 80% of the people raised their hands in the end. To Lu Jiao's surprise, she saw Sun Ziyuan among these people. She thought Sun Ziyuan would object. In any case, Lin Xiao's move-in is a foregone conclusion. As for whether he can really stay, it depends on Lin Xiao's future performance. Chapter 14. Xu Qing was a little surprised when she saw so many seniors below raising their hands. She felt that things were getting more and more out of control. But there was nothing she could do about it. Forget it, as mentioned above, this matter is decided by the seniors present. Since all the seniors present have decided to let Lin Xiao stay, he can just do it. Now that the seniors have made a decision, let's leave Lin Xiao behind for the time being. Everyone, please go back and rest. The elderly people in the nursing home are leaving one after another. Sun Ziyuan is naturally no exception. Unlike others, he is Lin Xiao's roommate, so he naturally has more opportunities to interact with Lin Xiao than others. Originally he thought Lin Xiao might be kicked out, but now it seems that things are moving in another direction. This is okay, just think of it as adding some fun to your ordinary life. When Sun Ziyuan returned to the room, he found that Lin Xiao was not in the room, but the sound of water kept coming from the bathroom next to him. It seems that this kid is taking a shower and he really likes to be clean. Perhaps because he heard the noise outside, Lin Xiao also knew that Sun Ziyuan was back. After taking such a long cold shower, he didn't feel any chill. He was still a little hot, especially in his lower abdomen. There was a persistent heat flow, which also made certain parts of his body unusually active. Lin Xiao was also speechless about this. Could it be that the things he ate today had the effect of nourishing yin and strengthening yang? This nursing home is full of grandparents, aren't we afraid of any accidents? Lin Xiao also understood that according to the current trend, continuing to take showers would have no effect. He wiped his body casually, put on his clothes and walked out. As soon as he came out, he saw Sun Ziyuan looking at him with an ambiguous expression. Lin Xiao couldn't help but shudder. By the way, doesn't this old man have any thoughts about him? Brother Sun, don't look at me so lustfully, I'm scared. Sun Ziyuan was happy. He found that leaving Lin Xiao here seemed to be a good idea. The young people in the nursing home, like Xu Qing, did not dare to speak to him in such a tone. If someone had talked to him like this in normal times, he would have shouted out loud. But now he has no intention of doing so. If you don't look at me lustfully, how do you know that I am looking at you lustfully? Lin Xiao was startled and couldn't help but take a step back. This old guy couldn't really think about that. I can't do it. Seeing Lin Xiao's reaction, Sun Ziyuan felt more interesting for some reason. A playful smile appeared on his face, and he walked towards Lin Xiao step by step. Lin Xiao felt like his whole body was numb, and every step Sun Ziyuan took seemed to step on his heart. He couldn't help but have some inappropriate scenes pop up in his mind. Isn't this old guy really disrespectful? And is he preparing to attack or accept? Phew, how could I think of such disgusting things? But it seems that I am completely unable to resist. Do you want to run away? I feel like I can't run away. Since you can't resist, then just enjoy it. Enjoy being a big-headed ghost. I would definitely rather die than obey. At this time, Sun Ziyuan finally came to Lin Xiao's side. Seeing the rapid change in Lin Xiao's face, he felt particularly interesting. Boy, do you feel hot all over? Hearing Sun Ziyuan's words, Lin Xiao was stunned for a moment. Fortunately, the old boy didn't do anything to him, which scared the baby to death. He didn't know what Sun Ziyuan meant, so he thought about it and nodded. It's true that you kid dared to eat anything indiscriminately, and it's true that those guys were completely deceived by your appearance. They forgot that those foods are not something you can enjoy at your level. Although that girl Lu Jiao gave, if you neutralize the energy, it won't cause harm to your body, but if you don't dissipate the energy, you will still feel uncomfortable. Lin Xiao knew that his body's hotness must be related to what he had eaten before. Hearing what Sun Ziyuan said, he subconsciously asked, "Brother Sun, how do you distribute it?" As soon as he asked the question, Lin Xiao wanted to give himself a slap in the face. Did this count as a doorstep? Sure enough, Lin Xiao found that after he asked, Sun Ziyuan's face showed a charming smile again. "Today you ask sincerely, and I will tell you mercifully that if you want to better distribute and absorb energy, just follow me. Otherwise, you will not be able to sleep tonight." After Sun Ziyuan finished speaking, he walked out first. Lin Xiao knew that he had misunderstood, and he breathed a sigh of relief. In any case, his virginity was temporarily saved. Coupled with the hotness in his body, it really made him very uncomfortable. Since Sun Ziyuan said there was a way to help him solve it, it was best to solve this problem. Otherwise, I might not be able to sleep tonight if I keep doing this. Also, it's really uncomfortable to hold it up all the time. Thinking of this, Lin Xiao immediately chased after him. Sun Ziyuan took Lin Xiao to the courtyard of the nursing home. Lin Xiao discovered that there was a complete playground here. If nothing else, it looked much better than the playground in their school. While Lin Xiao was still thinking about why Sun Ziyuan brought him here, Sun Ziyuan had already spoken. "Boy, why are you still standing there? Start running." Lin Xiao quickly realized that his current symptoms were due to overcompensation. If he ran, wouldn't it be enough to dissipate the excess energy? Such a simple method, why hadn't I thought of it before? He must have been frightened by this little old man, and his brain stopped thinking. "Okay, let's run, let's run." Lin Xiao immediately started running around the playground. To his surprise, Sun Ziyuan actually ran with him. Lin Xiao doesn't care either. If the old man wants to run away, just come with him. Lin Xiao doesn't look fat. Because he has been working part-time for a long time, his physical fitness is still good. It didn't take long for him to run 4 laps, and he was soon surprised by the changes in his body. He has run before, and although 4 laps is not his limit, he should still feel tired. Today's feeling was different. After running 4 laps, he was sweating a lot, but his body did not feel any fatigue and even felt very comfortable. The energy in his body seemed to be slowly absorbed by him. He felt that his body was much stronger than before. The weather in June was already a bit hot, but Lin Xiao couldn't care less now and continued to sway his youth and sweat on the runway. 5 laps, 6 laps. Soon Lin Xiao ran 10 laps, and the speed was not slow. In the past, Lin Xiao might have been paralyzed by exhaustion, but now he just felt a little tired and could continue to persevere. The only thing that made Lin Xiao a little unhappy was that Sun Ziyuan followed him unhurriedly. He also ran 10 laps, his face was not red, he was not out of breath, and there was no sweat on his forehead. "Boy, is it my 99 or your 99? Why are you running like a turtle? Can you do it?" Lin Xiao, "Oh, filled down pointing triangle Tang filled down pointing triangle me winking face, oh. You can say other things about me, but you can't say I'm not good." Lin Xiao's competitive spirit was also aroused. He really didn't believe it. He couldn't even outrun a 99-year-old man. Thinking of this, Lin Xiao immediately started to speed up. Let the storm come more violently. Lin Xiao started to speed up, and Sun Ziyuan naturally would not show weakness. His purpose today is very simple, just to tire this grandson to death. He actually cursed him to only live to be 100 years old. He wouldn't be able to breathe out such a bad breath unless he died of exhaustion. Lin Xiao's competitive spirit has been aroused, so the next thing will be much simpler. Sun Ziyuan exerted his strength and ran in front of Lin Xiao easily. He glanced at Lin Xiao jokingly, and then started to speed up again. Lin Xiao cursed secretly, "This old boy looks down on him." The silent ridicule made him even more embarrassed, fighting this old boy. Lin Xiao also quickened his pace. No matter what, he would definitely not be left behind and he would not be fighting for his breath. The two of them ran around in circles on the playground. Every time Lin Xiao wanted to give up, Sun Ziyuan would deliberately slow down and wait for him. He didn't say anything, just looked at Lin Xiao quietly. Lin Xiao's fierceness has also increased, he can't stand it anymore. We can't let this old boy look down on us. The situation on the playground can actually be seen in many rooms of the nursing home. In a room on the third floor, Lu Jiao and her roommate Sheng Guangxi were observing the two people on the playground. Jiao Jiao, I've run more than 20 laps now, this guy seems pretty good. Lu Jiao smiled and nodded. That's good, but it's also because he ate the meat of a spiritual beast today. Normally he wouldn't be able to run so many laps, but he can persist until now, which is considered okay. I think it's okay. If I let brother Sun continue to torture me, I'm afraid this kid's body won't be able to bear it. What are you afraid of? Brother Sun knows what's appropriate. With you and me here, can something happen to this kid? Tisk tisk, that's true. I'd like to see where this kid's limits are. In a room on the second floor, a one-armed old man looked quietly at the old man and the young man who were showing off their youth outside, with a smile on his face. Lao Sha, are you excited? The one-armed old man did not look back, a little bit. Although this boy has awakened with F-level vision enhancement, he is very suitable to inherit my mantle, but we have to keep an eye on him. Then you should hurry up. I feel like you are not the only one who is interested in this boy. What, are you excited too? That's not the case, but idle time is idle. If this kid has talent, I wouldn't mind teaching him a lesson. Lin Xiao was breathing heavily, and every step was extremely heavy. At this moment, he had determined that all the excess energy in his body had been absorbed. The reason why I am still persisting is entirely because I don't want to admit defeat to Sun Ziyuan. Even though he knew that he would lose in the end, he still chose to persevere. Sun Ziyuan was also somewhat impressed by Lin Xiao at this time. This boy had stronger perseverance than he thought. Lin Xiao's speed was already very slow at this time, not even as fast as a normal person walking, but he did not choose to give up and persisted. Sun Ziyuan had no intention of stopping. He wanted to see how long Lin Xiao could last. Lin Xiao's eyes were a little distracted, and he couldn't see the runway in front of him clearly. I don't know if it was because his body had reached its limit, or because the sweat was blocking his vision. With a stagger, Lin Xiao fell directly onto the track. When an extremely tired person lies down, it is undoubtedly difficult to get him to stand up again. Sun Ziyuan knew this feeling. Lin Xiao must have reached his limit. Just when Sun Ziyuan was about to let Lin Xiao give up, he was shocked to find that Lin Xiao got up on his own. Lin Xiao wiped his sweat and looked at Sun Ziyuan. Brother Sun, you don't think I would admit defeat like this, do you? The winner hasn't been decided yet. His grandma, I still don't believe it, I can't outrun you. Sun Ziyuan laughed loudly, and suddenly found that he liked this kid a little bit. I find that the hardest thing about you is your mouth. If you want to outrun me, you are still too young. Lin Xiao was too lazy to speak. Talking too much would be a waste of his energy. He ignored Sun Ziyuan and continued running. I don't know if it was Lin Xiao's illusion, but he felt that his steps were much lighter and his speed was much faster than before. This surprised Sun Ziyuan, who followed him. He has been there, so he naturally knows what is going on. Lin Xiao broke the first limit of his body. Just one run allowed Lin Xiao to break one layer of his own shackles. This kid has something. I remember that when I was young, it took a lot of time to break the first limit of my body. It became more and more interesting. Let's see how far this kid can persist. The sky had begun to turn gray, and the cool breeze blowing from time to time made Lin Xiao feel a little more comfortable, but that was all. There was a burning pain in his throat. If I remember correctly, I ran another 15 laps. I really didn't expect that I could last so long. However, he had reached his limit and he had no strength at all. Brother Sun is really getting stronger with age. He has been doing this for so many times and he still looks like a normal person. Lin Xiao fell again. This time he really couldn't get up. It wasn't that he didn't want to, but that he had no strength at all. Sun Ziyuan sat next to him, looked at the sunset not far away, and spoke calmly. Boy, you won this time. After all, you are still old and can't run anymore. Lin Xiao, not. Don't make trouble, son. Brother, if you lose. You just lose. It's not like I can't afford to lose, I don't need you to give in. Oops, I'm still a bit angry, but I like it. Sun Ziyuan took out a bottle of water from somewhere and handed it to Lin Xiao. Lin Xiao was not polite, struggled to sit up, took the water, and wanted to open it, but found that he could not even unscrew the bottle cap. He smiled bitterly, but didn't want Sun Ziyuan to help. Sun Ziyuan saw all this, curled his lips, and then flicked his fingers, and a burst of spiritual power directly opened the bottle cap. Lin Xiao secretly said, with a flick of his finger. Who wants your help? I can do it myself. Yes, you can do it yourself, I'm superfluous. Lin Xiao was too lazy to talk nonsense, so he picked up the water bottle and started drinking. Tons. After drinking a bottle of water, Lin Xiao finally felt a lot better. He wanted to stand up, but found that his legs felt like they were filled with lead and he had no strength to move at all. Sun Ziyuan sighed, and regardless of whether Lin Xiao agreed or not, he grabbed Lin Xiao and carried him on his shoulders. Lin Xiao's weight is as if it doesn't exist in Sun Ziyuan's hands. Put me down. You can pull me down and be obedient. That's it for today. You don't want to crawl back by yourself, do you? Lin Xiao also knew that Sun Ziyuan had good intentions. I just need to take a rest, and this posture is too shameful. What, you still want my princess to hug you? I have no objection. Lin Xiao, forget it, that's it. I'm tired, destroy it. When Sun Ziyuan took Lin Xiao back, he unexpectedly found that two people were waiting for them at the door. They were Lu Jiao and Shengguan Shi. At this moment, Lin Xiao wanted to die. It was too embarrassing to be brought back by Sun Ziyuan in such a humiliating posture and be seen by others. What he didn't know was that their situation had long been seen by many people. Sun Ziyuan saw Lu Jiao and Shengguan Shi, but he was not surprised at all. He put Lin Xiao down directly. Then I will leave it to you two. After Sun Ziyuan finished speaking, he went back to the room. Lin Xiao had recovered some strength. He didn't know what Sun Ziyuan meant, but it would be really embarrassing to stay here. He struggled to go back to the room, but was directly pulled by Shengguan Shi. Sister, please let me go. Shengguan Shi smiled, but didn't say anything. Lin Xiao was surprised to find that no matter how he struggled, he couldn't get rid of Shengguan Zai's hand. After knowing that the struggle was fruitless, Lin Xiao also gave up completely. That's it. He already understood that the weakest person here might be himself. No matter what he did, it would be futile in the end. To Lin Xiao's surprise, Shengguan Shi didn't seem to want to embarrass him. She put her hand on his pulse. It's not a big problem. It's just that the physical strength is too much. Just rest for a while. But with Zhao Zhao here, there's no need to be so troublesome. Lu Jiao smiled and released her supernatural power to Lin Xiao again. Lin Xiao only felt that his hollowed-out body was recovering rapidly, and even the fatigue in his body was almost gone. Lin Xiao was a little surprised. Isn't the healing system only for healing? Can it also restore physical strength? Okay, little brother, this is all we can do. I hope you won't let us down next. With you here, our nursing home does have a different vitality. After they finished speaking, they turned around and left. Lin Xiao was stunned for a moment, and finally shouted to the two women. Thank you, two sisters. The two didn't look back, but just waved their hands. Such a simple action made Lin Xiao's nose sore again. It feels so good to be cared for. The physical fatigue has completely disappeared, which makes Lin Xiao feel very magical. He also understands that he needs to slowly adapt to this world of spiritual revival. Many things here cannot be understood with previous ideas. Entering his room, he found that Sun Ziyuan was looking at him jokingly. I say, kid, you are really popular, but I still have to remind you that you may offend some people. Lin Xiao couldn't help rolling his eyes. He naturally understood what Sun Ziyuan meant. I say, brother, I'm not as dirty as you think. I really can't do that kind of thing. Then who can say for sure? After all, you don't know them yet. What if one day you figure it out and don't want to work hard? Who knows what you can do? Lin Xiao. Epsilon equals Omicron ***. Alas. Don't say it, I didn't have any ideas at first, but now that Sun Ziyuan said this, I was inexplicably moved. It's moving, but he will never put it into action. Brother, you really think too much. If I were to move in here at my age, wouldn't I be lying down? Sun Ziyuan shocked face backquote oh. There seems to be nothing wrong with this statement. It's a pity that if you choose any other ordinary nursing home but choose this place, you are destined to not lie down so easily. Boy, starting from tomorrow, join me in strengthening your body. What, brother, have you been conquered by me today? Are you ready to accept me as your disciple? TCH, what good things are you thinking about? I just think that your thin arms and legs are really unsightly. Look at the men in our old Sun family. Which one is not a strong-backed man? Stop, I'm here to lie down, not to exercise, and I'm not a man from your Sun family, so don't use your family's requirements to restrain me. That's what I said, but who asked you to live in the same room with me? Seeing you like this, I am very unhappy. I will give you two choices. One is to practice for me obediently, and the other is me. I'll convince you, and then you can practice obediently. Lin Xiao looked up at the ceiling at 45 degrees. This was impossible even without practice. He very much suspected that Sun Ziyuan was taking revenge on him. Is it too late for me to change rooms now? That's too late. Lin Xiao was speechless. At this moment, he felt that his days to come would be extremely dark. Seeing Lin Xiao's deflated look, Sun Ziyuan was inexplicably happy. Don't be stunned, go take a shower quickly. I suggest you go to bed early, because tomorrow I will let you know what devil training is. It's not that Lin Xiao didn't want to resist, but seeing Sun Ziyuan's muscles and Sun Ziyuan's relaxed look when running before, he knew that resisting would only make him worse. It is better to do what Sun Ziyuan said. At least this way, he can suffer less. After taking a shower, Lin Xiao lay on his bed. It had to be said that this was the most comfortable time he had ever laid down in his life. Although Lu Jiao restored his strength, Lin Xiao quickly fell asleep. Before falling asleep, Lin Xiao felt that he was really old. At this time before, he was either studying or working part-time outside. Going to bed so early like this is really not his style. Sun Ziyuan looked at Lin Xiao, who fell asleep almost instantly, and felt so good about being young. He did not choose to rest, but took out his mobile phone and sent a message in the group. Everyone, I think this kid is okay. It seems good to stay here. It's still too early to say this now. We know people and faces, but we don't know their hearts. We still need to continue to observe. A week later, all the good seedlings in Zunchang will explore a first-level secret realm. Let this kid also see the world. We will arrange some tests inside. If this kid can pass the test, let him stay. Not too late either. Agree. +1. +10,086. I have no objection, but this little guy has only awakened F-level abilities. Is it too dangerous for him to enter the first-level secret realm? Seeing the heated discussion in the group, Sun Ziyuan thought for a while and entered a line of words again. Starting from tomorrow, I will train him. Superpowers are not possible, but by strengthening the body, he can protect himself. The week is a bit rushed, so I need your cooperation, Sister Lu Jiao. If he can pass the test, everyone can consider whether to teach this kid. If he doesn't pass, these days of teaching will be enough to benefit him. Okay, I'm okay. Then it's settled. You can think about what kind of test you will set up at that time. Lin Xiao slept extremely soundly, unaware that the old people in the nursing home were already plotting against him. Early the next morning, Lin Xiao was still dazed when he was woken up by Sun Ziyuan. Lin Xiao was still a little angry when he got up. After seeing Sun Ziyuan, he was once again sure that he had been reborn in this world. He was a little impatient. Looking at the gray sky outside, he couldn't help but be speechless. Brother, what time is it? Just call me. If you do this again, I will go crazy. Sun Ziyuan didn't care what Lin Xiao thought. This kid actually dared to talk to him like this. It seemed that he was too polite to him. Sun Ziyuan lifted Lin Xiao out of bed. Lin Xiao was completely awake at this time. Looking at Sun Ziyuan's arms that were thicker than his thighs, he immediately became scared. People had to lower their heads under the eaves, not to mention that their own thighs couldn't twist his arms. Brother, I was wrong. Why don't you just get up now? You're a smart kid. Do you still remember what I said to you last night? I'll practice. Isn't it okay if I practice? Isn't it just too early? How early is it? It's already 5:30. The day's plan lies in the morning, so don't waste it. Lin Xiao also accepted his fate. Since struggling was useless, let's take a good exercise and treat it as a way to strengthen his body. Then what are you waiting for, bro? Let's go. Why are you in a hurry? Although it's a little late now, you still have to finish your breakfast before going. Sun Ziyuan clapped his hands after speaking. Lin Xiao was surprised to find that the services in the nursing home were in good condition. Shu Qing immediately walked in with the dining cart after hearing the sound. Lin Xiao immediately got into bed again, suddenly thinking that he was in a hurry yesterday and didn't bring any change of clothes. He was sweating all over yesterday, but now he was clean and smooth. Shu Qing didn't seem to notice this, and took out a change of clothes from under the dining car and threw it to Lin Xiao. Uncle Lin, these are your clothes, and breakfast is here. You can enjoy it slowly. When you are done eating, just put it here. Someone will clean it up later. After Shu Qing finished speaking, she didn't stay here any longer and left directly. When I went out, I closed the door very thoughtfully. Lin Xiao felt a little surprised. Why did Xiao Shu suddenly become so sensible? And what did she call herself? Uncle Lin. Not to mention, I quite like this title. I just don't know why, but Shu Qing seemed to look at her with a little sympathy in the end. Forget it, why are you thinking about so many useless things? Shu Qing had already gone out, so Lin Xiao stopped hiding and quickly changed into clothes. Not to mention, the clothes seemed to be of good quality, at least much better than my previous ones. This once again made him sigh that it is great to have money. Such services had never been dreamed of before. When Lin Xiao got dressed, he found that Sun Ziyuan was already preparing to eat. He immediately rushed over. If he was a little late and was eaten by this old boy, he would be in big trouble. When Lin Xiao saw the food on the dining car, he couldn't help but nod. Breakfast is very simple, including big steamed buns, fried dough sticks, tea eggs and a bowl of soy milk. Sun Ziyuan was eating a steamed bun with a big meat filling, and the oil inside made Lin Xiao salivate. He quickly picked up the big meat bun on the table and started eating it. He couldn't help but mutter, "Brother, take it easy, don't eat so much, be careful." This time, Sun Ziyuan did not speak, but looked at Lin Xiao meaningfully. Lin Xiao didn't care about that much. He stuffed the bun into his mouth in a few moments, then started peeling the tea eggs and stuffed them into his mouth quickly. Then I took the fried dough sticks and dipped them in soy milk and ate them. It tastes great. Sun Ziyuan watched quietly and even handed his share to Lin Xiao. Lin Xiao was a little surprised, but he didn't mean to be polite to Sun Ziyuan. Brother is loyal, but I will be disrespectful. Sun Ziyuan smiled. He felt that Lin Xiao was the reincarnation of a starving ghost who ate so much food so quickly. After everything was finished, Lin Xiao wiped his mouth with satisfaction. Comfortable, I haven't had such a comfortable breakfast for a long time. I said, boy, don't you feel anything is wrong? Lin Xiao was stunned for a moment. Could it be that you drugged it? It's impossible, right? As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Xiao felt something was wrong. A warmth surged through his body. This feeling was so familiar. It was because of this that he didn't even eat properly at the birthday banquet yesterday. The only thing that puzzled Lin Xiao was that the warmth seemed to be much slower this time than before. No, here we go again. Sun Ziyuan finally smiled at this time. Boy, these are good things. Although they are not as good as yesterday's, they are pretty good. These meat buns are second-level spiritual beast meat, the tea eggs are third-level spiritual beast eggs, the fried dough sticks and soy milk are ordinary foods, but they are just this is enough for you. Lin Xiao. *II. Why didn't you tell me earlier? The heat in his body was getting worse and worse, and Lin Xiao couldn't care less about it. Brother, please help me. Tell me which room Sister Lu Jiao is in. She is in urgent need of help. You kid, don't even think about it. Sister Lu won't care about you today. If you want to avoid being overwhelmed, just go exercise with me. This is the only way now. Lin Xiao was speechless and choked. His feelings were waiting for him here. But it doesn't matter, I was originally going to be dragged to exercise today. Brother, what are you waiting for? Go for a run. After Lin Xiao finished speaking, he pulled Sun Ziyuan to prepare to go to the playground. Unfortunately, no matter how hard he tried, Sun Ziyuan could not move at all. Who said I would take you for a run today? I have other training today. Come with me. After Sun Ziyuan finished speaking, he led the way directly, and Lin Xiao quickly followed. The hot feeling on his body made Lin Xiao very uncomfortable, and he wanted to run straight away. Brother, hurry up, I can't hold it anymore. Follow that, don't talk nonsense, otherwise don't blame me for whipping you. Lin Xiao. Can't beat it, I will endure. It was very painful along the way, but Lin Xiao could only try to suppress the heat in his heart. Not long after, the two finally arrived at a place that looked like a gym. We're here, let's train here today. Lin Xiao couldn't care less at this time. Let's just go to the gym. As long as he can suppress the hot energy in his body, it doesn't matter where he exercises. When Lin Xiao was thinking about where to start, he was surprised to find that there were already many old people exercising in the gym at this time. Seeing Lin Xiao's arrival, these old men all cast playful glances. Don't these old people sleep in? And what did you see? That guy lifting the barbell. The barbell looks to be at least 200 to 300 pounds. Who is he trying to stimulate by doing it so easily with one hand? That running lady, is your pace too fast? Is 300 km/h on the treadmill serious? Besides, is this a nursing home? Are you sure there are normal people here besides yourself? What are you thinking about? Is this the time to think about this? It's important to exercise as soon as possible, otherwise you really feel like your body is going to explode. When Lin Xiao was thinking about how to start, Sun Ziyuan came over with a vest. The vest was very thin. Lin Xiao was slightly stunned. Do you need to wear special clothing for exercise? This is a weight-bearing vest. If you put it on, it will help you consume the violent energy in your body. Lin Xiao pouted. How heavy can such a thin vest be? Just carry the weight. I can't care about that much now. Let's exercise quickly. The feeling of heat all over the body is really uncomfortable. Seeing the way Sun Ziyuan held the vest lightly, he thought that the weight-bearing vest was only about 10 kilograms at most. But when he took it from Sun Ziyuan's hand, he felt his hand sink and he almost lost his grip on the weight-bearing vest. Fortunately, I usually do hard work, so I won't make a fool of myself. No, bro, this is at least 100 kilograms, right? That's about right. There's so much nonsense. This is the lightest weight I can find. Put it on quickly. Lin Xiao was speechless and choked. He also knew that no matter how much he said, it would be useless, so he still succumbed to Sun Ziyuan's lustful power. In the end, Lin Xiao put on the vest with the help of Sun Ziyuan. Lin Xiao felt as if a big mountain was weighing on his body. The good thing is that the moment he put on the vest, he felt that the violent energy in his body seemed to calm down a bit. Brother, let's not talk about it. This thing is really useful, but I have a little doubt. I'm afraid my body won't be able to handle it at this level of intensity right from the beginning. It would be bad if there is any permanent damage. Quote. Haha, there's so much nonsense. This weight-bearing vest is designed with special materials and is priceless. In addition to increasing the weight, it can also suppress the violent energy in your body. You can wear it these days, except when taking a shower. You can't take it off even for sleeping. As for your physical problems, you don't have to worry. I guarantee that your body won't have any problems. Don't be stunned. Start running for me. Now I'm running on the indoor track. 10 laps. Lin Xiao still wanted to struggle, but the energy in his body became violent again. Although he was suppressed by the weight-bearing vest, he still felt uncomfortable. With a wry smile, he stopped struggling and could only go for a run. The indoor track is not very big, only about the size of a basketball court. Under normal circumstances, it is not a big problem for Lin Xiao to run 20 laps, but the key is that now he has hundreds of kilograms of weight on his body. At the beginning, because he still had plenty of physical strength, Lin Xiao could still trot even if he added hundreds of kilograms of weight. The violent energy in his body calmed down a lot as a result, which gave Lin Xiao the motivation to continue. By the 10th lap, Lin Xiao's speed slowed down, and his clothes were soaked with sweat. Lin Xiao felt that his two shoulders were extremely heavy, not only heavy but also painful. If I guessed correctly, his shoulder might have been strangled and bleeding. Even so, Lin Xiao did not give up. With so many people watching, he did not want to give up easily. As an orphan in both lives, Lin Xiao discovered what he had in common with his original owner. Both of them are afraid of loneliness, and Lin Xiao has a good impression of the elderly people in the nursing home. Although he doesn't regard them as family members now, deep down in his heart, he doesn't want to be looked down upon by these elderly people. Although his speed was getting slower and slower, he gritted his teeth and persisted. This made the old people observing Lin Xiao around couldn't help but nod frequently. As time passed, Lin Xiao found that the violent energy in his body had completely stabilized. It not only stabilized but also began to nourish his body. This feeling almost made him cry out in comfort. Because of this, Lin Xiao felt that his steps had become lighter and his speed increased again. He knows that this is the energy in his body nourishing his body, which can benefit him throughout his life. Lin Xiao was not a fool. He understood at this time that Sun Ziyuan said that he took him to exercise because he couldn't stand his thin arms and legs, but in fact it was not for his own good. He also knew from his previous physical condition that if he wore weights, 10 laps would be almost his limit. In just one day, his physical strength is now more than a little stronger than before. If he continues, even if he awakens only F-level powers, he may not be able to become a strong person. Lin Xiao couldn't help but feel a little excited. He was reborn into this world and said that he had no idea about becoming stronger. That was definitely a lie. The reality of awakening F-level powers dealt him a heavy blow, but now he seems to have seen the light of day again. He didn't want to give up this opportunity, so he at least wanted to give it a try. Thinking of this, Lin Xiao felt that his steps were much lighter. Soon he had completed 20 laps. Dragging his tired body to Sun Ziyuan, he cast a provocative look at Sun Ziyuan. Although I now know that he may be doing it for my own good, it is absolutely impossible for me to thank him. He must have thought that he couldn't finish 20 laps, so I just ran it to show you. Why are you looking at me like that? Today's training has just begun. It was just a warm-up. Hearing Sun Ziyuan's words, Lin Xiao staggered and almost sat on the ground. Was this just a warm-up? Brother, tell me the truth, do you want to kill me? Sun Ziyuan showed a smile that looked extremely terrifying to Lin Xiao. What you said is that after finally getting a toy you want, will you give up so quickly? Don't worry, I won't play with you to death, but what you said is not bad. My standard for you is that as long as you play with if you don't want to die, just play with it. Lin Xiao shocked face "Oh, I take back my gratitude to you just now. This old boy definitely wants to kill himself. Lin Xiao didn't care and sat down on the ground. In fact, physical fatigue was secondary. This weight-bearing vest was really not very comfortable for him to wear. He could see blood oozing from his shoulder. I don't know when Lu Jiao appeared next to Lin Xiao. Throwing a healing spell directly at Lin Xiao immediately felt an itch on his shoulder. Looking at his shoulder, he saw that the wound had recovered as before. Lu Jiao once again threw a physical recovery spell at Lin Xiao, and Lin Xiao felt like he was alive again. My sister is the best to me. Don't be too busy flattering me. I'm treating you just because I'm afraid you'll die here. I'm on brother Sun's side. You'd better continue to be trained. After saying that, Lu Jiao stood aside, while Sun Ziyuan moved his wrist, making continuous clicking sounds. Lin Xiao knew that if he didn't get up again, this grumpy old man would definitely take care of him. A good man doesn't want to suffer any immediate losses, so he'd better keep practicing. After Lu Jiao helped him heal his injuries, he felt the violent energy in his body again. Although what he ate in the morning was only second and third level spiritual beast meat, he couldn't bear to eat too much. Lu Jiao didn't have the energy to calm down the restless energy in her body. As soon as her physical strength recovered, she came out to cause trouble again. It seems that he is preparing to slowly consume and absorb this energy. Next, under the arrangement of Sun Ziyuan, Lin Xiao began his devil training. Lin Xiao finally understood why Lu Jiao was always by his side. Every time he squeezed out the last bit of strength from his body, Lu Jiao would treat him. After the treatment, he continued training under Sun Ziyuan's urging. After a whole morning, Lin Xiao finally exhausted all the energy from breakfast. Just when Lin Xiao was about to take a rest, it was time for lunch again. Shu Qing sent their lunch directly to the gym. Seeing the big fish and meat on that table, Lin Xiao knew that these were probably spiritual beast meat. Lin Xiao swallowed and resisted from rushing forward. Did I say there's no normal food here? Sun Ziyuan glanced at him lightly. That's all, eat whether you like it or not, and be hungry if you don't eat it. Regardless of whether you eat or not, the training in the afternoon will still continue. As soon as he heard what Sun Ziyuan said, Lin Xiao couldn't care less. He rushed over and started eating. He understood that the reason why he could persist this morning was entirely because of the energy provided by the spirit beast meat. If he did not eat it, he would not be able to persist in the afternoon. Not only does he want to eat, he wants to eat more. Seeing Lin Xiao devouring his food, Sun Ziyuan smiled. To be honest, he was also a little shocked by Lin Xiao. This kid kept complaining, but in the end he persisted. If this kid can pass the test, he really has value in training. After lunch, before Sun Ziyuan asked Lin Xiao to train, Lin Xiao himself couldn't stand it anymore. It is said that breakfast is good, lunch is full, and dinner is light. Lin Xiao was really full and sustained. The result is that the energy that was consumed and absorbed with great effort in the morning becomes violent again, and even more violent than before. If he didn't move any longer, Lin Xiao felt like he was really about to burst. Seeing Lin Xiao being so understanding, Sun Ziyuan also showed a happy smile on his face. Now is not the time for Lin Xiao to practice blindly. He has prepared systematic training for Lin Xiao. Don't worry, kid, the training in the afternoon is underwater training. You can just go swimming. Lin Xiao couldn't help but roll his eyes. He knew how to swim, but now he was wearing a weight-bearing vest, and he was afraid that he would sink as soon as he entered the water. Brother, if you want me to die, just say so. I'll be wasted if I can swim in this weight. Haha, why don't you jump down yourself, or I'll throw you down. Lin Xiao wanted to say something more, but the energy in his body made him even hotter. It was not impossible to go to the water to cool down at this time. Since he was unable to resist, just accept his fate. He believed that Sun Ziyuan would not ignore him. Soon he arrived at the pool, and Lin Xiao jumped in directly. The water temperature was just right. Although there was buoyancy in the water, Lin Xiao didn't feel any relief. The weight-bearing vest on his body made him feel uncomfortable and tried to make him sink to the bottom. Fortunately, although the energy on his body was violent, it still provided him with enough strength. With the blessing of this energy, he was not pulled into the water. You should get used to it in the shallow water first, and then start swimming for me once you get used to the weight. Lin Xiao was too lazy to complain. If he had the energy, he might as well train hard. After wandering in the shallow water for a while, Lin Xiao finally got used to the weight-bearing vest on his body. He took a deep breath and tried to swim. It was still a bit strenuous due to the interference of the weighted vest, but at least I was able to swim. Lin Xiao is self-taught in swimming, so he can't be considered proficient, but he won't drown either. His swimming style is also the most common dog paddle style. Sun Ziyuan and Lu Jiao paid close attention to Lin Xiao's situation, and they were speechless when they saw Lin Xiao using the dog pawing style. The way Lin Xiao fluttered made them feel very funny. This kid's swimming style is really clumsy. It seems that when I have time, I'll let this little guy learn other swimming styles. Lu Jiao also smiled. It doesn't matter, as long as you can swim. The fact was just as Lu Jiao thought. Lin Xiao only swam 3 times and started to sink to the bottom on the 4th time. Gouda gouda. Seeing the bubbles rising in the swimming pool, Sun Ziyuan, who had been paying attention to the situation here, immediately jumped into the swimming pool and quickly lifted Lin Xiao out. Lin Xiao spat out a few words of water, and then looked helpless. He discovered that swimming in the water consumes much more energy than swimming on the ground. Lu Jiao also replenished Lin Xiao's strength in time. Before Lin Xiao could say thanks, Sun Ziyuan kicked Lin Xiao down again. If you're not dead yet, just keep swimming. Lin Xiao secretly cursed at the inhumanity and continued practicing. In the swimming pool, Lin Xiao struggled for 3 hours before Sun Ziyuan called him up. Of course, it was not that Sun Ziyuan wanted to let Lin Xiao go out of mercy, but that he had other events to train for. During this period, Lin Xiao had no time to rest at all. Every time he tried to be lazy, he would be yelled at loudly. It's not that Lin Xiao didn't want to pretend not to hear, the consequences of this were very serious, and he had already experienced it. Whenever he ran out of energy, Lu Jiao would immediately replenish his energy and never let him be idle for a moment. After another 2 hours of ground training, Lin Xiao felt like he was going to be completely useless. Although with Lu Jiao's help, his physical strength was still extremely strong, his mental fatigue could not be eliminated. At this time, Lin Xiao finally had a chance to breathe, because it was dinner time. Looking at the dinner brought by Xu Qing, Lin Xiao looked so confused. Dinner seems unusual. If you continue to eat, will you continue to train? But now I am exhausted both physically and mentally. I just want to take a good bath and lie in bed to rest. Xu Qing looked at Lin Xiao, who was suffering from depression, and had a smile on her face. I said, Uncle Lin, what's wrong with you? Why are you so haggard? Lin Xiao glared at Xu Qing angrily. This little girl really didn't care about anything. Although he wanted to restrain himself from eating the food on the table, after a day of high-intensity training, he was already so hungry that his chest was touching his back. My stomach also growled very inappropriately. Sun Ziyuan glared at Lin Xiao. Why are you still standing there? Dinner is ready. Lin Xiao. Backquote. This is force feeding. Brother, you see it's like this. Is today's training over? And, no, but don't worry, the evening training is only for an hour, and it's not physical training. Lin Xiao breathed a sigh of relief when he heard that it was not physical training, but he still had a question. If he were to eat, how would he consume the energy he gained from eating if he did not do physical training? Eat with confidence, your body will be fine. Lin Xiao felt that things were definitely not as simple as he imagined. But so what? The head can be cut off, the blood can bleed, and the food cannot be skipped. Cooking was important. Thinking of this, Lin Xiao didn't care and started cooking directly. In order to take revenge on Sun Ziyuan, he decided to eat Sun Ziyuan's share. Lin Xiao soon felt that something was wrong. He seemed to have gained more energy during dinner than in the morning and noon. This is preparing to kill yourself. Brother, what's going on? Why is there so much energy? I feel like I can't hold it anymore. It's okay if you can't bear it. Now let's do the last training. After Sun Ziyuan finished speaking, he directly grabbed Lin Xiao and carried him on his shoulders without waiting for Lin Xiao to speak. Lin Xiao only felt the sound of air explosions coming from his ears, and subconsciously closed his eyes. When he opened his eyes, he found that he and Sun Ziyuan had arrived at a ring. Etc. Arena, what are you trying to do? Sun Ziyuan's expression became even more playful, and he threw Lin Xiao onto the ring. The last training, actual combat training, your opponent is me. As long as you can attack me, even if I lose, of course I will fight back. Don't worry, I'm very measured in my attacks. Lin Xiao, Pan, this old boy is definitely seeking revenge. Look at those thick arms, I'm afraid I can't even bear a punch. Brother, I was wrong, don't play with me like this. Haha, I forgot to tell you that what you ate at night was the meat of a 7th level spiritual beast. The energy in it is too violent. I'm afraid you won't be able to handle it. If you train by yourself, it may take you a whole night. Don't count on Sister Lu. She will not calm the energy in your body for you, so there are only 2 ways in front of you. Either fight with me to quickly consume this energy, or train by yourself all night. By the way, no matter how long you train, yes, training will continue tomorrow. Lin Xiao's whole body is in bad shape, this guy is plotting against himself. I went to a nursing home to enjoy the blessings, not to suffer. He who rides the horse has a fight with this old boy. I'm still afraid of you. Don't think I'm afraid of you. They say that boxing scares young people. I still don't believe that I can't touch you. Let's start now. It's not that Lin Xiao is anxious to be tortured, but that the energy in his body has begun to run rampant. If he doesn't start, he is afraid that he will not be able to bear it. Sun Ziyuan took out a pair of boxing gloves and put them on his hands. Are you ready? I'm going to start. Lin Xiao was stunned for a moment when he saw Sun Ziyuan's gloves. What about mine? You don't think you can touch me, do you? Don't worry and attack me. Lin Xiao thought about it. Instead of worrying about Sun Ziyuan, he might as well worry about himself. I hope he won't be punished too badly. Thinking of this, Lin Xiao rushed towards Sun Ziyuan directly. Although Lin Xiao has not been trained, he has fought with people on a daily basis. His attacks have no rules, mainly Lu Ziye. In the previous life, he was punished for his righteousness, mainly because there were many people on the other side. If there were only one or two, he might not lose. Facing Lin Xiao's attack, Sun Ziyuan remained unmoved. When Lin Xiao's fist was about to fall on him, he turned slightly sideways and just missed Lin Xiao's fist. Lin Xiao had already thought of this possibility, but when his fist failed, he took advantage of the situation and swung it. This was beyond Sun Ziyuan's expectations. He didn't expect that there were variables in Lin Xiao's boxing skills. Of course, Lin Xiao couldn't hurt Sun Ziyuan. After all, the two were not on the same level, or even on the same dimension. Sun Ziyuan quickly squatted down to avoid Lin Xiao's attack, and before Lin Xiao had time to react, he punched Lin Xiao on the chin. Hollow down pointing triangle ==0, 0, 0. Even with the buffer of the gloves, Lin Xiao still heard a click, and then his brain went black and he lost consciousness. Gone. Knocked out with one punch. This old boy has no martial ethics. Lu Jiao had arrived here at some point. When she saw this, she directly under the ring used a healing technique on Lin Xiao. Lin Xiao woke up slowly, still a little confused. At this time, all I can think about is, who am I? Where am I? What's wrong with me? Lu Jiao's voice brought him back to reality. I'm telling you, brother, you should be careful when you start. It's hard for me to do this. Sun Ziyuan was also a little embarrassed. I couldn't hold it back for a moment. This kid looked like he really needed a beating. I couldn't hold it back. The clay figurine is still angry, and Lin Xiao is fighting like a carp. I didn't start fighting, and I forgot I was still carrying weights. He slowly got up from the ground and looked at Sun Ziyuan with an annoyed expression. I'm not convinced. Come again. Come on, come on. Let's see how I deal with you today. Lin Xiao rushed over again. This time Sun Ziyuan chose to dodge as before, but did not fight back immediately. No matter how Lin Xiao attacked, Sun Ziyuan could dodge with great ease. Even during the process, Sun Ziyuan yawned out of boredom. The more you look like that, the more you deserve to be beaten. Lin Xiao was so angry, but what could he do? His hand was about to spark, but he couldn't hit the opponent. Boy, you are upset. Pay attention to your breathing rhythm. Don't punch blindly. This will only waste your energy in vain. Also, watch my movements carefully to see how I dodge. Sun Ziyuan's words made Lin Xiao calm down and began to observe Sun Ziyuan's movements. During the observation process, Lin Xiao unconsciously used his own powers. His special ability is to strengthen his eyesight, which is now level 1, and his own spiritual skill is to strengthen his eyesight. You will get a new spiritual skill every time you upgrade your superpower. In addition, you can get spiritual beads from high-level spiritual beasts, and you may also get additional spiritual skills from the spiritual beads. Before this, Lin Xiao didn't care much about his superpower. After all, it only allowed him to see farther and clearer, and there seemed to be no need to use it. But when he used it unconsciously, he discovered another effect of this magical skill. Sun Ziyuan's speed was very fast. His eyes could not keep up with his speed before, but after using enhanced vision, Sun Ziyuan's speed seemed to have slowed down a lot. It felt like playing in slow motion. Of course, even in slow motion, Lin Xiao's eyes were still a little reluctant to fully keep up with Sun Ziyuan's speed. I didn't expect that my own powers would have such an effect. Lin Xiao originally thought that with the help of supernatural powers, he would be able to relax a little bit, but it turned out that he was overthinking. Sun Ziyuan discovered this the first time Lin Xiao used his superpower. He was a little surprised at the beginning. After all, he knew that Lin Xiao's superpower was just the most common F-level superpower. What was the use of using this superpower to deal with someone of his level? But after fighting again for a while, Sun Ziyuan discovered something was wrong. He found that Lin Xiao's eyes had been following his movements. You must know that it is impossible for ordinary first-level superpowers to keep up with his speed. Interesting. It seems that this kid gave himself a surprise. Just dodging was not Sun Ziyuan's style, and he quickly began to fight back. This time, Sun Ziyuan knew that he should be merciful. He suppressed his strength to the peak level. Such an attack would make Lin Xiao feel pain, but it would not cause him too much harm. Sun Ziyuan's attacks hit Lin Xiao like raindrops. From the moment Sun Ziyuan started attacking, Lin Xiao's eyes were fixed on his fist. In Lin Xiao's opinion, the speed of his fist was actually acceptable. He thought he could dodge it. But when the fist came down, Lin Xiao realized how ridiculous his idea was. The current situation is that he knows where Sun Ziyuan will attack, his eyes and brain have reacted, and the next thing to do is to make his body dodge. A problem arose. His body couldn't keep up with his eyes and brain. By the time his body reacted, it was already too late and the fist had already landed on him. This discovery made Lin Xiao dumbfounded. But he wasn't upset either. This problem is easy to solve, just wait until he improves his reaction speed. Sun Ziyuan also discovered this. Although every one of his blows failed, he also discovered that after Lin Xiao's fist fell, his body would slow down and make evasive movements. It's a pity that their strength and experience are very different. Lin Xiao could only be beaten passively. In the next hour, Lin Xiao was completely beaten. Now he only felt that he had gained more weight. It was a swelling caused by Sun Ziyuan's beating. Because the injury was not serious, Lu Jiao was too lazy to treat him, so she just let him get beaten like this. Lin Xiao did not complain. He had been trying to avoid Sun Ziyuan's attacks. Sometimes, he was still trying to predict in advance, although even if the prediction was successful, the attack would still fall on him. But even this made Lin Xiao very happy. Also, Lin Xiao discovered that being beaten can really quickly consume the violent energy in the body. At least now he feels much better. How could you think so? I am not a masochist. An hour later, Lin Xiao no longer looked human. His face was so swollen that he couldn't see anything through his eyes. After the training, Lu Jiao was finally willing to treat him. Seeing himself quickly returning to his normal appearance, Lin Xiao couldn't help but sigh again at the power of the healing system. But the difference from before was that the fairy-like figure to him before was no longer so kind. He has already seen that Sun Ziyuan and Lu Jiao are colluding. One is responsible for taking care of him until he is dead, and the other makes himself lively when he can't hold on, and then continues to be taken care of. Although I knew this was for my own good, I was still a little angry. After an hour of beating training, the energy in Lin Xiao's body became stable again. Sun Ziyuan looked at Lin Xiao who was recovering as before and couldn't help but curl his lips. I said, "Brat, it's almost time. Do you want some more midnight snacks?" Lin Xiao took 2 steps back. I said, "Brother, please spare me, I really can't bear it anymore." Haha, okay, I'm kidding you, go back and have a good rest. After hearing that it was time to leave, Lin Xiao was granted amnesty and left quickly. Seeing Lin Xiao's leaving figure, Sun Ziyuan and Lu Jiao looked at each other and smiled. "Brother Sun, what do you think of this kid's performance today?" "Not bad. It's very good. I'm surprised that I can persist. Moreover, there are many things about this kid that surprise me. Keeping him here may really be a good decision. Let's not mention this for now. Let's wait until he passes the test." Lin Xiao quickly came to his room, took off all his restraints, and took a shower. The injuries and fatigue on his body could be treated by Lu Jiao, but he was still sweating a lot, and he had long wanted to wash it off. After he finished washing, he found that Sun Ziyuan hadn't come back yet and was just about to lie down on the bed. Suddenly he saw the weight-bearing vest he had put aside. Thinking of what Sun Ziyuan said about wearing clothes when sleeping, he struggled for a while and decided to do it. Otherwise, if you fall asleep for a while, you will still have to wake yourself up when Sun Ziyuan comes back, and you can't let him disturb your rest. After putting on the weight-bearing vest, Lin Xiao finally lay on his big bed. Maybe he was really tired today. The moment Lin Xiao lay on the bed, he went directly to explore life with Duke Zhou. When Sun Ziyuan came back, he saw Lin Xiao sleeping so soundly and did not disturb him. Especially when I saw him actually wearing a weight-bearing vest, I couldn't help but smile. Gently covering Lin Xiao with the quilt, Sun Ziyuan also lay on his bed. In the next few days, Lin Xiao has been receiving training from Sun Ziyuan. Lin Xiao could really feel his changes. In just 1 week, he felt that he was countless times stronger than before. His current body is very perfect. Although he doesn't look as scary as Sun Ziyuan, in just 1 week, he has already developed abdominal muscles. This made Lin Xiao feel very unreal. The training is still the first day of training, and Lin Xiao can now do those trainings very easily. Sun Ziyuan was also shocked by Lin Xiao's adaptability, so on the third day, he added weight to Lin Xiao's legs, and on the sixth day, he also added weight to Lin Xiao's arms. Of course, this did not defeat Lin Xiao, but made him work harder and sometimes even train himself extra. After dinner, I continued to spar with Sun Ziyuan. For a week, he was beaten very badly every time. And from beginning to end, he never touched Sun Ziyuan. This made Lin Xiao a little depressed. Only Sun Ziyuan knows how much Lin Xiao has improved. Now, if he wants to prevent Lin Xiao from encountering him, it is no longer enough to suppress his cultivation to the first level. Only by suppressing his cultivation to the middle of the second level will he not be caught. Lin Xiao hit. Sun Ziyuan did not tell Lin Xiao about this situation, fearing that the boy would be proud. Lin Xiao can feel his progress. Now he can move normally with a weight of 300 to 400 kilograms. The spiritual power in his body has also grown very fast, and it should have reached its peak level now. This kind of cultivation speed can be said to be very terrifying. Even some S-level and above superpower users may not be able to cultivate as fast as Lin Xiao. This is not to say that Lin Xiao's cultivation qualifications are very good, but because the treatment in the Red Sun nursing home is so good. 3 meals a day consist of spirit animal meat, and recently it has been level 4 or higher spirit animal meat. In addition to strengthening his body, the spirit beast meat also contains a lot of spiritual power. A lot of these spiritual powers were also absorbed by him, which is why he cultivated so quickly. Among them, Lu Zhao's contribution is also due. After all, others cannot practice to the extreme like him. In addition to the rest time being fully arranged, he restores his own strength when he has no energy, and treats himself when he is injured. What a life he has. Fulfilling. Lin Xiao also noticed that more and more old people came to watch him exercise during this period. While exercising, he would occasionally chat with these old people. He also gained some understanding of many people in the nursing home. Inadvertently, he also found out some information that he wanted to know. For example, Lu Zhao is actually a 9th level healing power user. Sun Ziyuan awakened the White Tiger Beast transformation power and is also a 9th level beast transformation power user. His family can only awaken the White Tiger power. God knows how shocked Lin Xiao was when he learned the news. You must know that in the memory of the original owner, someone who can become a 9th level boss must be a well-known figure. How could Hida, a small city of Shuan City, have so many strong men? But when Lin Xiao learned that none of the old people here were below level 6, he became numb. Sure enough, here, I am the most rubbish one. That's all the information he could find out. If he asked the other old people, they wouldn't speak. Lin Xiao is not in a hurry. Anyway, he has to stay here for a long time and will eventually unveil the mystery here. On this day, after Lin Xiao was beaten, he was about to find a place to practice more when Sun Ziyuan stopped him. Xiao Lin, don't practice extra today. I have something to tell you. Lin Xiao was a little surprised. He didn't know what Sun Ziyuan wanted to say to him. He didn't ask any more questions and just nodded quietly. Sun Ziyuan was very satisfied with Lin Xiao's reaction. The boy was much calmer than when he first arrived. He was no longer trying to show off. Boy, do you know the secret realm? Of course, Lin Xiao knew about the secret realm. Although the original owner of this body was not capable of awakening supernatural powers, he had no shortage of knowledge. Secret realms appear one after another in various parts of the world after spiritual energy is revived, and the people living in them are spiritual beasts. The secret realm is the same as the level of human cultivators, divided into 9 levels. The lowest is level 1, and the highest is level 9. Most of the spiritual beasts inside will not come out, but occasionally disobedient ones will come out. If a high level one appears, it is likely to be a disaster. Of course I know, but I don't know why you told me about the secret realm, brother. There is a first level secret realm near Zuncheng. The spiritual beasts in it are not dangerous. It has always been used by various forces in Zuncheng as a place to train new people. When Sun Ziyuan said this, Lin Xiao knew what he meant. Brother, you don't want me to go to the secret realm to exercise, or you should pull me down. You are asking me to die. Shut up, wait until I finish. Tomorrow, the best awakened students from all major high schools in Zuncheng will go to the secret realm to train together. I want you to go and train too, and I have already signed up for you, and I just to inform you that you have no right to refuse. Lin Xiao, backquote, is there any royal law? Are there any laws? Don't you have any human rights at all? Can we really not go? Haha, what do you think? And this time, you are arranged to be at Zuncheng number 1 middle school. You will enter with some people from your school. Don't worry, the death rate is not high, and there will be someone to protect you secretly. Lin Xiao was relieved when he heard that someone was protecting him. From this point of view, at least this trip should not be too dangerous, and it seems not bad to go and experience it for a long time. Sun Ziyuan immediately understood Lin Xiao's thoughts. If you think you are safe if someone is protecting you, you are wrong. Let me tell you this, there are new students in this secret realm every year to exercise, and every year there are people who stay there forever. Brother, I'm timid, don't scare me. I don't have time to joke with you. Have a good rest tonight. I will take you out early tomorrow morning. After Sun Ziyuan finished speaking, he took the lead to leave, leaving Lin Xiao alone and messy here. This is too hasty. Lin Xiao knew that this could not be changed by his objection, and he also wanted to see how far his current strength had improved. Since Brother Sun asked himself to go to the trial, thinking about his current strength, it shouldn't be too bad. We'll know everything tomorrow. Wrong. Will you be with the students from Zuncheng number 1 middle school tomorrow? Then he is going to meet Lu Rian and Ji Boxiao. How could I forget this? Is it too late to change teams now? I always feel like these two guys will make things difficult for me. It's better to discuss it carefully with Brother Sun. Knowing that he might go to the secret realm tomorrow, Lin Xiao didn't go to practice anymore. It was better to save his energy and deal with tomorrow's situation. Lin Xiao was about to go back to his residence. On the way, he occasionally met old people walking out for a walk, and he greeted these old people warmly. These are all powerful people and connections. Who knows when they will be used in the future? Brother Zhang, have a good evening. I'm out for a walk. Sister Li, you are beautiful again. Brother Zhao, I just saw Sister Wu exercising there. Maybe we can meet her by chance now. Lin Xiao greeted these people in a familiar manner, and at one point he accepted death. If you want to have a good relationship with these people, you have to raise your seniority. These old people didn't seem to want to refuse. He couldn't help but feel funny when he thought about these people's juniors seeing him in the future. Give it, give it. After returning to his residence, he found that Sun Ziyuan had returned. Brother, let's discuss it some more. No need to talk, you have to participate in tomorrow's trip to the secret realm no matter what. I know this. What I mean is, can you please don't let me be with no 1 middle school. There are people there who don't want to deal with me. That's it, that's great, it's a hit. Lin Xiao, katakana middle dot backquote omega, katakana middle dot. Gone. Why does it feel like Brother Sun is even more excited? Forget it, let him be. Lin Xiao was actually not too nervous. He felt that the people in the nursing home would not let him die. This trip to the secret realm may have a different purpose. But why, he really couldn't figure it out. Because he needed to go to the secret realm tomorrow, Lin Xiao originally wanted to rest early. But I don't know if he was too excited. Lin Xiao tossed and turned and couldn't sleep. I thought I would go with no 1 middle school tomorrow to see if I could ask some questions about the internal situation. I still have some good buddies in no 1 middle school. By the way, where is your mobile phone? Thinking of this, Lin Xiao suddenly remembered that from entering the nursing home to now, he fell asleep after every training. It's been almost a week since I touched my phone, and I've never thought about it, which is amazing. In the past, no matter how busy I was, I would always check my phone. He took out his mobile phone, which he didn't know how many times he had, and found that it had long been out of battery. I took out the charger and started charging. As soon as I turned it on, I found countless messages and missed calls coming from my phone. After a quick glance, I found that there were calls from school teachers and my good friend Zhou Ji. The one with the most was Lu Rian. This was somewhat beyond Lin Xiao's expectation. Didn't they all break up? Why are you still sending messages and calling yourself? Ignore him for now and read what the head teacher sends first. The head teacher informed him to participate in tomorrow's secret realm, but expressed concern for him in his words. Ask him why he took part in this assessment with his awakened F-level power. Isn't this looking for death? Ask him if Ji Boxiao wants to punish him. If so, he will suppress it. Lin Xiao still had a good impression of Laoban. After all, he had given him a lot of help before and had given him the green light to work study. He didn't want to tell Laoban his current situation to save Laoban from worrying. He just told Laoban that it wasn't Ji Boxiao's fault, and that he was very strong now, so he didn't need to worry about him, so he went to see Zhou Ji's news. Zhou Ji kept asking about his situation. He was really anxious after not contacting him for so many days. Zhou Ji is Lin Xiao's best friend. He has awakened the A-level earth element. He should also go to the secret realm to test this time. After thinking for a while, he sent a message back to Zhou Ji. Read it, don't read it, see you tomorrow. Let's wait until we meet tomorrow to discuss everything. It is better not to tell others about the nursing home for the time being. After all, based on his current understanding of the nursing home, telling Zhou Ji may not be a good thing for him. Zhou Ji might have something to do, so he didn't reply to the message, so he wasn't in a hurry. The rest was Lu Ruyan's message. Lin Xiao, you dared to hit me. Come out and apologize to me immediately. Maybe I can forgive you. How dare you ignore me? Didn't you reply to my messages instantly no matter how busy you were? Giving you one last chance, come out and meet me. I'll wait for you at school. After a few simple glances, Lin Xiao no longer cared. He is not the licking dog of the original owner, so he does not want to be a boiling sheep. Everything that can be snatched away is garbage, not to mention Lu Ruyan doesn't grow up with his aesthetics. And he also noticed that some of Lu Ruyan's messages were about asking him to take responsibility, but more about wanting to ask him out. I'm afraid he's not so kind. Maybe Ji Boxiao asked him to do this, and the purpose is to find an opportunity to deal with himself, so that he is not so stupid. And Lu Ruyan used a commanding tone. This kind of scumbag makes me sick just thinking about it. Lin Xiao felt a lot more comfortable after blocking all Lu Ruyan's green bubbles and mobile phone numbers. Cherish life and stay away from scumbags. After playing with his phone for a while, tiredness came over him unconsciously, and Lin Xiao fell asleep. I was woken up by Sun Ziyuan early the next morning. Lin Xiao also got up quickly. He was also looking forward to today's trip to the secret realm. Even the original owner of this body had only seen spiritual beasts in videos on his cell phone and had never experienced them in person. Lin Xiao was still very curious about the spiritual beasts in this world. After quickly solving his physical problems and washing up, Lin Xiao looked at Sun Ziyuan quietly. Don't worry, we will gather at noon. Let's have a peaceful breakfast first. You don't need to go to school to gather. When the time is almost up, I will send you there directly. Lin Xiao couldn't help but rolled his eyes. The meeting was at noon, couldn't he just let himself sleep in? Why did you wake yourself up so early? Of course, he would not say these words directly. If he did, he would definitely be beaten. This time Shu Qing didn't bring herself breakfast, they went to the cafeteria to eat it themselves. In fact, this is normal life in a nursing home. Everyone goes to the canteen to eat by themselves. All the meals in the nursing home are cooked by an old man in the nursing home without hiring a cook. Lin Xiao didn't know what the old man's cooking skills were. He only knew that he had never eaten such delicious food since he was so old. This was his first real meal in the cafeteria. After arriving here, Lin Xiao realized that he had been tricked by Sun Ziyuan before. The food here not only has high-grade spiritual beast meat, but also first and second-grade spiritual beast meat, and even a lot of ordinary food. But he was too lazy to complain, there was no point in worrying about it anymore. After simply eating some ordinary food and low-level spiritual beast meat, Lin Xiao didn't feel any discomfort. He had eaten all 7th-level spiritual beast meat, but these low-level spiritual beast meat could no longer make him feel anything. After breakfast, it was still very early, and Lin Xiao was thinking about whether to exercise. Sun Ziyuan clearly saw Lin Xiao's thoughts. Xiao Lin, don't exercise today. I'll give you half a day off to clean yourself up and go get a haircut or something. After all, if you enter the secret realm this time, you may never come back. Lin Xiao no longer knew how to complain. But it's not rough to say it, it may be dangerous in the secret realm, and I haven't had a haircut for a long time before I moved in, so it's really time to get it fixed now. Brother, you can't expect good things from me. Why can't I come back? Bah, bah, bah. It's bad luck. Are you really going to give me a holiday? Go ahead and be back before 11 o'clock noon. Lin Xiao was very happy and could finally go out and relax. Okay, then brother, I'm going out and I'll definitely be back before 11 o'clock. After Lin Xiao finished speaking, he left. In addition to cleaning himself up this time, he was also going to buy some supplies. Who knew what was waiting for him on this trip to the secret realm? It never hurts to have a few extra things on hand. After Lin Xiao left, several old people came to Sun Ziyuan's side. Old son, how are things prepared? Everything is ready. This time it depends on this kid's performance. Whether he can really stay or not depends on him. This kid is a good prospect. There won't be any accidents, right? Just kidding. What kind of accident can happen in a first-level secret realm, and I will follow you there. Then you can just watch the live broadcast here. Lin Xiao didn't know that he had been plotted. He has arrived at the nursing home guard. The gatekeeper was still Uncle Zhang, who greeted Lin Xiao warmly when he saw him. Xiao Lin, do you want to go out? Lin Xiao nodded. He had a good impression of Uncle Zhang. If he hadn't let him in before, he still wouldn't know what would happen now. Brother Zhang, it's a small matter. Let's go out. Go ahead and be careful. Those little guys who followed you that day have been hanging around here a lot lately. Lin Xiao was stunned. He knew that Uncle Zhang was talking about the gangsters Ji Boxiao had found before. He didn't expect that these gangsters still haven't given up yet. Do they really want to deal with him? Now Lin Xiao is not afraid of these gangsters. The fact that these people can become gangsters shows that their abilities are very ordinary. Although he had only practiced for a week, he knew that he was already different from before. It's not a big problem to deal with a few gangsters. He even looked forward to meeting these gangsters, so that he could practice his skills and at least know what his current combat power was. I know Brother Zhang, I can still deal with these little gangsters. Okay, if you can't beat them, run away. Come back and I'll help you deal with them. Lin Xiao chuckled and was not polite to Uncle Zhang. That's necessary. The world is dangerous. If it doesn't work, just retreat. I'm not that stubborn. After being polite to Uncle Zhang, Lin Xiao left the nursing home. Not far from the nursing home, a man with heavy eye circles showed excitement on his face when he saw Lin Xiao coming out. Oh my god, this kid finally came out. If he didn't come out, he wouldn't be able to hold on anymore. He immediately shouted behind him, "Boss, don't sleep, that kid is out." The gangster boss and a few others were catching up on their sleep. After hearing what the younger brother said, they got up immediately. Ha ha ha, this kid finally came out. It's not in vain that we have been squatting for so long. That's 5 million. This time, we can't let him escape under any circumstances. Lin Xiao actually discovered these gangsters, and he was not in a hurry. He would waste them if they didn't take action. I believe they wouldn't be able to bear it for long. At this moment, Lin Xiao suddenly thought of an important question. He came out this time to get a haircut and purchase supplies. But he doesn't seem to have much money left. After all the money he received from Ji Boxiao was given to the nursing home. If I had known, I would have asked Brother Sun to borrow some. It seems a little late to go back at this time, so let's leave it at that. I still have a little money, which should be enough to buy supplies. Before that, pick up yourself first. Lin Xiao was not familiar with this area. After thinking about it, he directly used his mobile phone to navigate to the nearest barber shop. I found that the nearest barber shop was several kilometers away, so it was impossible to take a taxi. It was such a waste of money. Just run there and think of it as exercise. Thinking of this, Lin Xiao immediately started to trot. The few gangsters behind saw Lin Xiao starting to speed up, and each of them also started to speed up. Boss, this kid wants to run away. I'm not blind. Chase me, but you can't let the duck that got your mouth fly again. Lin Xiao knew that the gangsters behind him were following him, but he was not in a hurry to deal with them now, so he would just sneak them away first. Lin Xiao still has a heavy load on his body now. He is used to this kind of load. It was all trained by Sun Ziyuan. The gangsters found that no matter how hard they chased, they could not close the distance with Lin Xiao, and when they slowed down, Lin Xiao seemed to slow down and wait for them. Boss, this kid is so good at running away, and I feel like he's playing tricks on us. You talk a lot. When we catch this kid, we will deal with him well. Not long after, Lin Xiao had followed the navigation to a barber shop. In the barber shop sat two beautifully dressed women. Lin Xiao didn't think much and walked in directly. Seeing Lin Xiao come in, the two women's eyes lit up. Such handsome young men are rare in their place. Handsome guy, washing and cutting are 28, washing, cutting and blowing are 298. What service do you need? Lin Xiao was a little confused. What kind of black shop is this? Does it cost 28 to get a haircut? The most expensive haircut you can get at school is only 20 yuan, which is 8 yuan more expensive. However, there seems to be no other barbershop nearby. If it's more expensive, just be more expensive. I'm too lazy to find another one. And what does 298 mean? Just blow it and you get 298 more. I really think I am being taken advantage of. How could he be fooled if he was so smart? Just wash and cut it for me, no need to blow it. The two little girls were speechless. They didn't know whether Lin Xiao really didn't understand or was pretending not to understand. This guy can't be a young boy. In that case, he will make a lot of money today. The two women looked at each other, with sparks and lightning in their eyes. Even if you don't blow it, you can still take the opportunity to wipe the oil while washing your scissors. I come. Lin Xiao was speechless. Why don't you just get a haircut? Why are you still arguing? He pointed at the woman who looked a little more pleasing to the eye. Stop fighting, I'm in a hurry, just do it. Okay, sir, let me wash your hair first, please. Outside the barber shop, several gangsters were breathing heavily. Boss, this kid is so good at running, I'm exhausted. Hey, it feels so familiar here. I remembered that I had shopped here last time. The washing, cutting and blow-drying service inside was pretty good. I didn't expect this kid to be so good. Boss, do we want to go in now? Don't worry, take a rest and wait until this kid comes out before dealing with him. It'll be good for me to catch my breath. After washing his hair, Lin Xiao sat down. Handsome guy, what kind of haircut do you want? Just watch it yourself. Okay. After the woman finished speaking, she started to give Lin Xiao a haircut. Lin Xiao was a little surprised. Although this woman looked a little unreliable, her haircut skills were still good. The scissors were flying, and Lin Xiao's appearance was changing rapidly. Lin Xiao was already very handsome, but now he became much more handsome again. The only thing that made Lin Xiao unhappy was that the woman rubbed her body against him intentionally or unintentionally while getting a haircut. Isn't this guy greedy for his beauty? Seeing Lin Xiao's handsome appearance, the woman was a little obsessed for a moment. Hey, beauty, what are you thinking about? Hurry up, I'm in a hurry. I'm sorry, sir, don't you really think about washing, cutting and blow drying? If it's you, I can give you a discount. Lin Xiao, oh, filled down pointing triangle Tang filled down pointing triangle me winking face, oh. You still want to steal my money, that's impossible. Absolutely impossible. Unnecessary. The woman gritted her teeth and said, Sir, my skills are very powerful. I guarantee you will be ecstatic. Do you think this will work? Make a friend. How about 300 yuan? How about I give it to you? If you can, we will go upstairs. Quote. Even though Lin Xiao was inexperienced in world affairs, he still reacted at this time. What kind of barber shop did I enter? This navigation is really awesome, it actually found a barber shop like this for myself. Do you know how many people try to find it but can't find it? It's true that the flowers planted with intention do not bloom, but the willows with unintentional planting create shade. Not to mention, I felt a little excited for no reason, that was 300 yuan. Then I thought about it, if I got some disease that I shouldn't have, I would lose more than I gain. Forget it, I'm in a hurry, I'll do it next time. The woman was a little disappointed, but she was not a person who buys or sells by force. There is no justice in business, so she quickly helped Lin Xiao finish cutting her hair. Lin Xiao looked at his new look in the mirror and was a little surprised. The original owner has never tried such a hairstyle before, not to mention, it is really more handsome. Lin Xiao was quite satisfied with this haircut. When he was about to pay, the woman stopped him. Handsome guy, this is my treat. Just come and take care of my business next time when you're not busy. Remember to come to me next time. It's still the price we just mentioned. Lin Xiao couldn't help but shudder. Women are so scary. They all say that fool should not take advantage if he has an advantage, but Lin Xiao doesn't want to take advantage. He quickly scanned the QR code to pay, then waved to the woman. Money still has to be given. Definitely next time, definitely next time. After Lin Xiao finished speaking, he ran away as fast as he could. Seeing Lin Xiao running away, the woman's face showed a meaningful look. She was already sure that this guy must be a baby. She didn't react until Lin Xiao left. Forgot to add his green bubble. Lin Xiao left the barber shop and was stopped by those gangsters. Seeing these people, Lin Xiao covered his face and almost forgot about these guys. Brothers, please move to another place and don't disturb other people's business. Hey, you're pretty good at it. It's not okay for you to finish it in such a short time. That's right, are you suffering from kidney deficiency? Ha ha ha, it must be. Lin Xiao. Mother Ganline, I am despised by these guys. Don't push if you can. Lin Xiao took the lead and walked aside. Not sure if they were afraid that Lin Xiao would run away again, a few people immediately followed him and subconsciously surrounded Lin Xiao. After all, they had seen Lin Xiao's physical strength, and they might not be able to catch up if he ran away again. Soon a few people arrived at a deserted place, and the place was open enough. Lin Xiao looked at the gangsters and felt a little helpless. Brothers, what benefits did Ji Boxiao give you? Do you need to squat on me like this? It's been a week, you see you have endured like pandas, don't you give up. You still have the nerve to say that Mr. Ji has already told us about your matter. Just hand over the 5 million and we will let you go. Mr. Ji said that if we can get this money back from you, this money it's ours. If you don't comply, we will have to use force. You have to come up with the money, and we will deal with you. Lin Xiao finally understood why these guys were staring at him so much. If this matter is placed on him, he will keep it for a year, let alone a week. But it's different now, the target is yourself. These people actually want to steal their money. Not to mention that the money is no longer with them. Even if it is with them, it is impossible to give it to them. Since you want to steal his money, you must be prepared to face your own anger. Speaking of which, I seem to be a little short of money now. Although these gangsters don't look very rich, they can't be poorer than me. Thinking of this, Lin Xiao had an idea. He looked at the gangsters and spoke directly. I planted this tree and opened this road. If you want to live forever, leave money to buy the road. If you rob, hand over all your money. Lin Xiao's words stunned these gangsters. At this moment, they were even confused as to whether they were gangsters or this guy was a gangster. They knew Lin Xiao's information, and Ji Boxiao told them all about him. A student who had awakened an F-level power actually wanted to rob them. I am so impatient to live. Ha ha ha, no way, my stomach hurts from laughing, this guy is going to rob us. I suspect this guy has a funny brain. This guy really hangs himself because he thinks his life is too long. Lin Xiao frowned, these guys really didn't give him any face. I tell you, please be serious, I'm robbing you. At this time, those gangsters were completely angered by Lin Xiao. The gangster leader waved his hand. What are you doing standing around on horseback? Come on, let this kid know why the flowers are so red today. Most of the powers awakened by these gangsters are not practical. In their opinion, using powers is not as practical as fists. Moreover, they already knew Lin Xiao's information. The other party had awakened F-level strength enhancement, which could not pose any threat to them. So what are you waiting for? Just deal with him. Lin Xiao couldn't tell how he felt now, and he didn't use his powers. But I don't know if it's because of the frequent use of superpowers when fighting Sun Ziyuan. Now even if he doesn't use superpowers, Lin Xiao feels that his eyesight is much stronger than before. Moreover, in his opinion, the movements of these gangsters really looked like slow motion. This was not his illusion. After Sun Ziyuan's dimensionality reduction attack, the speed of these people was nothing to him. At this time, a gangster's fist was getting closer and closer to Lin Xiao. Lin Xiao directly raised his arm to block it. When the gangster saw that Lin Xiao was trying to block his fist with his arm, a disdainful smile appeared on his face. Although he awakened a junk power, he still trained it regularly. Coupled with the fights that happened every 3 days, I was quite satisfied with my fighting ability. He believed that his punch was enough for Lin Xiao to bear. The gangster's fist hit Lin Xiao's arm. Lin Xiao felt nothing, but the gangster's face became very ugly. He felt that his punch did not hit a person, but hit an iron plate. He didn't hold back any force from this punch, and he felt like his hand was going to be useless. Everything was under Lin Xiao's control. If he wanted to avoid it, it would be very simple, but he didn't do that. The reason why he used his arms to block was not because Lin Xiao wanted to confront him head-on. His arms had the bindings that Sun Ziyuan found for him. Lin Xiao didn't know what material it was made of. It had the same 2 characteristics as a weight-bearing vest. One is very heavy, not big in size, but ridiculously heavy. When Lin Xiao first put on the bandaged hands, he was very uncomfortable. Another feature is that it is very hard, so there is no problem at all when it is used to chop bricks and gravel. The gangster clenched his fists in pain and kept wailing from his mouth. Lin Xiao would not be polite to him, so he kicked him away with a flying kick, and also brought down several gangsters behind him. Seeing that Lin Xiao was so good at fighting, the gangsters became more vigilant and did not dare to move forward for a while. The gangster leader was furious when he saw how cowardly a few people were. Get them all. There are so many of you, what are you afraid of what he will do? The gangsters thought about it, that's right. They were suppressed by Lin Xiao's momentum just now. There were so many of them, so scared. The gangsters rushed towards Lin Xiao again. Lin Xiao took a deep breath to calm down his mood. He now has a certain understanding of his combat power, which is much stronger than before. Facing the gangsters' attacks, he dodged as fast as a butterfly in a flower. No matter how these gangsters attacked, he could easily dodge. When you really can't avoid it, use bandaged hands and leggings to resist. At this moment, Lin Xiao felt the joy that Sun Ziyuan felt when he tortured him. It feels so good to face the attack of the violent storm without being able to hurt yourself at all. Of course, it is not his style to just dodge. After all, Sun Ziyuan did not attack him when he was avoiding his attacks. He learned the essence of this. Whenever he finds an opportunity, he will fight back. Ada, take my move and the monkey escapes. The gods pick grapes. Deadly scissor kicks. The ultimate secret, 1,000 years of killing. Lin Xiao went crazy. Those gangsters basically hit him and it was difficult to get up in a short time. Of course, Lin Xiao was very measured in his actions. He didn't want to cause any loss of life. Soon, except for the gangster boss, everyone else on the scene was settled by Lin Xiao. There were a bunch of gangsters lying on the ground, either covering their chests or covering their crotches, lying on the ground and wailing. The gangster leader never expected that Lin Xiao could be so strong. Boy, after a while, I advise you to be obedient and take out the money. You are okay to deal with them, but you are a little too green to deal with me. Lin Xiao frowned. He didn't know where this guy got his confidence. At this moment, Lin Xiao discovered that there was a fluctuation in spiritual power in the hands of the gangster leader, and a wind blade slowly took shape in his hands. I admit that your fighting skills are good, but if I use my powers, how will you deal with it? Although I only awakened the E-level wind element, it is more than enough to deal with you. I didn't want to make things worse before, so I didn't use it. You forced me to have superpowers. After the gangster leader finished speaking, he pointed all the wind blades at Lin Xiao. Lin Xiao's eyes immediately focused on the wind blade. As a first-level ability of the wind system, the power of the wind blade is quite good. As the other party said, even an F-level first-level wind blade is not flesh and blood can withstand it. In addition, this was Lin Xiao's first time facing a superpower, so he was inevitably a little nervous. He also unconsciously used his own powers. After Lin Xiao used his powers, the speed of the wind blade, which was originally fast, slowed down again. Lin Xiao felt that there should be no problem in avoiding him. But that's it. It seems that I am being sensitive. Lin Xiao turned sideways, and according to the trajectory of the wind blade, he should be able to dodge this blow perfectly. Just as Lin Xiao thought, the wind blade failed to hit him, and Lin Xiao looked at the gangster leader again. He was surprised to find that the gangster leader was no longer in his original position. At some point, the gangster leader had rushed towards him. There was a folding knife in his hand, and he was slashing towards him quickly. Lin Xiao secretly thought that it was so fast. The gangster leader was far away from him just now. He didn't expect that he would be approached by this guy without paying attention. It seems that the opponent's wind blade is not the main attack at all, but to distract himself. After all, I was careless, and I could let someone like this fool me. The gangster leader awakened the E-level wind element. Although he didn't have any great achievements, he still became a level 2 superpower after so many years because of his age. In addition to the first level wind blade, his second level ability is wind rail, which can greatly increase his speed. This was also the reason why he was able to approach Lin Xiao so quickly. It was too late for Lin Xiao to dodge at this time. Fortunately, the gangster leader had no intention of killing him. The knife was aimed at his arm. Lin Xiao also blocked it with his arm. Clang! There was a crisp sound of metal clashing, and the gangster leader felt a strong force coming from him, almost losing his grip on the folding knife in his hand. This guy has some strength. There was also a steel plate in this guy's arm. No wonder his group of younger brothers all fell down after a few hits from this guy. Boy, you are playing dirty. Lin Xiao was speechless. How could he be playing dirty tricks? It's not like he was carrying the weight against you. However, Lin Xiao was also a little angry. If it weren't for the tied hands, he would be injured now. It seems that we need to be more cautious in the future. Even if the opponent is not as strong as ourselves, we must go all out. Otherwise, it is easy to capsize in the gutter. As for this gangster leader, just be prepared to face your own wrath. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.